bullshit.
We can run it back. We can run it back.
It's just so I got a couple things to say. For one, did you make it? Everybody make it back from Astro World? Okay,
bro, that's fucked up.
It is fucked up. You up on that as well?
I know about it, but I didn't look into it because
yeah.
Sucks.
I popped on the news, like just the Today Show, and it was like top of the news today.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like it's actually, I mean, like thoughts and prayers to the families and friends and all of that stuff, attendees in general.
It seems like it wasn't just an accident. It seems like it was not neglect.
It was neglect. It definitely was neglect.
Yeah, but I think that it's like. It's surprising. I don't mean this in a bad. Don't take this in any fucked up way.
Always do.
Please don't. It's surprising to me that the numbers are what they are. It was a huge event.
You think it would have been worse?
I would have thought it would have been worse.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about that is, when we're engaged in a combat overseas, and let's say we had 7 dead and 24 injured, a lot of the time that injured is like people missing limbs and not able to walk on their own. I did stumble randomly upon an interview, I guess, with one of his former producers.
Okay.
Who apparently had some sort of cardiac event while him and Travis Scott were in a studio or something together. And Travis Scott left him there to die.
Really?
This is what this guy's story is. So he's a trash human being to start with. He doesn't care about anybody.
How long ago was that?
I don't know.
They showed at that concert that like some fan was like looked like he was getting ready to pass out or something, and he stopped the concert. And
that one time.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he should have stopped it a few more times.
Well, like the police
that Drake
chief
fever just took the world by storm.
Is this a country singer?
No, this is Travis Scott. He's like one of the biggest hip hop artists in the world.
That's funny though, because it does sound like a country singer.
I know it's a.
Hey, I'm Travis Scott, and I
heard that name.
I spell country WDRM.
That's how out of touch I am. Like I know it's a musician, and like the name sounds familiar, but I have no idea.
He has Jordan collabs.
He does.
He did.
I don't know about Jordan,
and he's pretty influential. Like in he's done work with.
I'd say the 20-something crowd is very up on Travis Scott.
I'm old and trash.
Yeah,
and
I'm not as old as trash as you though, because you just
he was recently talked about by Kanye West in that interview. Did you happen to listen to that by chance?
You talking about the drink champ?
Yeah.
I did not.
So he came back apparently for a part 2, and it's coming out Friday, and I can't wait.
Was this before or after the incident?
Oh wow.
It was like I think it was the same day. Like I think he went out to the car and was like, you know what, I'm not done. And went back up in. Okay, I got more to talk about.
And that happened before this whole thing happened.
Yes.
And that's. I'm glad he's doing that, but it just seems Drink Champs isn't like a on the radar thing for like everybody.
No, but I think it's going to be there now.
Right.
You get 6 million views on YouTube.
Good for them.
But it and that was the last time I checked. He says in that he's like Travis Scott is because like they play this game where like you got to choose like a rapid fire basically, and then you can say choice A, choice B, or you can say both, or you can say neither. But if you say both or neither, you have to take a shot. And I don't think Kanye said both to maybe one, because he was like just shitting. Like some of the questions were like the political way to answer that is both, and he was like, oh no, definitely him. Definitely him, because he adds to the ilk of this. And he was like, Travis is great. I love Travis, but he's a combination of me, ASAP, and Kid Cudi.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and he was like
a Star Wars character.
Yeah,
he almost is, especially in his own mind.
Sometimes it's fun for me.
It doesn't matter if you catch him day or night, Joe.
But I was listening.
He tossed and turns.
That guy.
Yeah, he tossed and turns.
I went back and listened to that interview again. It might be my favorite interview of all time, like up there with that first Tekashi one.
Really?
Yeah, like the stuff that he says, like at first glance, I was laughing at, but at second listen, I was like,
it means something.
He's actually talking. Like he was like, insanity is just a claim that people use to keep control. And at first I was like, oh, says the crazy guy. You know what I mean? But then I was like, well, that is kind of true. Like if there is like this norm to society or whatever, and you say, well, I don't believe in that, I believe in this, and this is, then like it is kind of a form of,
unless you're definitively wrong, like a flat earther.
Correct.
Right. But
correct. But like,
there's not a lot of people that are in the position Kanye or Ye has found himself, where he can say whatever the fuck he wants about the world and the way things, people are treated or whatever, and nobody's gonna I'm not gonna say he's untouchable, but I'd say Kanye may be cancel proof.
He may be.
Is he cancel proof?
He may be because he has billions of dollars, and that might actually be. I heard that too, but I think that's actually the limiter. But it may be because of the billionaire aspect.
Maybe.
And also, like, if you're known to be like off kilter, then people aren't going to take you too seriously.
So there's that too, right? It's like, oh, of course he has a ham and cheese sandwich on his head, like he's doing Kanye stuff.
Yeah. So like if you're known to be like a normal dude, and then you say some whack shit, you're going to be canceled a lot easier than someone who just says whack shit all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't seem to care. He actually says in that interview, he's like, I'm uncancelable.
Okay, well,
like he was like they tried, and like I can't be canceled. But it was
also it's a self-imposed thing. People who are canceled, like if you just like, no, I'm not canceled, and you just keep doing shit, like this lady on Twitch.
Yes,
like
you can do it that way.
Keep fucking doing it, and then you already have fans. Like you're not cancelable at that point. It's if you feel the shame, and then you fucking cut yourself off. Then you're like, oh yeah.
But if you have like a HBO deal or a Netflix deal, and the next day you're doing Twitch, that's a big difference.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know, and like, cause I think who I think about is Louis C.K. You know, who like I miss, like, you know, like I miss him in the sauce of the world, so to speak.
I heard it's a homebrew marinara.
While we're on the subject of Kanye, there's another thing that we have to bring up, and that is I think I'm going to change Christopher's name to Yeezus with a IS instead of a US.
Why?
Or Yeezus with a K.
Can't wait to hear this.
He's got another pair of Yeezys on today. It's like third.
Bro, I have worn these to your house. I have worn these to your house. I mean, look at these. They're beat. I wear these all the time. I realized something the other day. You made comment when I had on my Beluga 2.0s. Well, I wore them over like the day we were here before at TFCon. I think you've never really looked at how much that shit costs, because I just happened to be browsing StockX and I'm like,
the Belugas.
Fuck, that's a $900 pair of shoes now.
Yeah,
I didn't know, because I mean, I think I probably paid double retail, which whatever. I mean, it seems bananas to say that, but not against what we do with the rest of our lives.
Right. My buddy has a pair of Belugas. That's the only reason why I knew how much they cost.
Did you know the Beluga 1.0s are getting re-released this year?
Are they really?
Sneakernews.com, man. You need to keep
See,
up.
I'm on the app, but I haven't got one notification yet.
Make sure you log in and all that shit. I'll let you know if something pops up.
Yeah, please do.
It's fun for me to sit in on like out of the loop of like the musicians and like their shoe stuff. It's just like it sounds different to me.
I want to
I have a completely different like view on this shit.
Well, I want to get enough of them where I feel comfortable wearing them. Like right now, I'm like, man, I don't have enough. Like,
but who notices? I mean, is this? Am I the minority, or am I like? Is it half and half where people walk down the streets and
I'll be honest with you,
wearing
like,
shoes
when I wear
shoes.
When I wear Yeezys in public, I do see people like
they look
down. Or and what's funny, I see kids like my kids' age look down, but my kids could give a fuck about a pair of shoes.
So let me add this to.
So that's what I was wondering.
Let me give away one thing about my Nerd Week.
Okay.
I went to Scott and Sarah's for dinner on Saturday.
Because you were invited?
Yeah, kinda. Then I had to re-invite myself. There's some shit to that. I'm telling you. But like, so all right, for the listeners, like this kind of spawns from this conversation I've been having recently, where like I can't stand like, here's the thing: if I never come over to your house and you're cool with that, and you never fucking say a fucking thing about it, cool. No issues. But if you feel a way about me never coming over to your house and simultaneously never invite me to your house, then I take issue with it. And then when I bring up that point and people are like, well, you're welcome anytime. Okay. All right, perfect. I'm going to fucking track you on every social media, and I'm going to wait for your fucking dying uncle to show up who's got 3 days to live, and I'm going to come over with all my kids and demand a fucking dinner then. That's going to be my time.
Or Sunday at 8 a.m. Sunday at 8 a.m.
Brunch. My uncle, he practically raised me. Anytime, buddy. Make with the fucking cooking.
What time's the meatloaf coming out? And I don't like onions, so start over.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is dead uncle not anytime? Is that outside of the realm of anytime? So so anyway, they were at, and you know why I went to Uncle? Because grandmas are off limits. So they were at my house for the Halloween party, and I said they said something like, well, you guys still haven't seen our house. I'm like, well, of course we haven't seen your house. You've never invited us to your house. And they're like, well, you're welcome anytime. And I was like, oh, you motherfucker. You motherfucker. It's not true. It's not true. Like, my house is generally open door policy, but there are times where you're not welcome. because I got to get something done. I got to fuck my wife. I got to I'm disciplining my children. Like I need to handle something.
Just not at the same time, hopefully.
I need to mow the grass. yeah.
Wow.
Well, it almost happened this morning.
When you're like screaming,
Get out of the room!
Hey, Bob.
Close the door behind you.
Hey, Bobby, how was your nerd week? Since we're halfway through it, let's go ahead.
You're
You're going first today, damn it.
Okay, I'll go first. So, but
you're
anyway,
invited to go first, bro.
You're invited.
Thank you.
Cordially.
Thank you.
Do you need me to write
Thank
this
you.
down for you?
No. So, yeah, and then they try to play, you make that joke, but he tried to play it up. He's like, next time I'm going to send you an envelope with gold leaves printed in a wax seal on the back. And I was like, you don't need to do that. Just a text or a phone call or whatever, but I'm not just going to pop. You live fucking an hour away. Come by anytime. Okay, so I come by anytime you're not there. Now I'm out in the fucking middle of nowhere and fucking, you know what I mean?
Bobby's a fucking vampire. Invite him in.
Yeah, you got to. Who doesn't? Like Kramer. That's it.
There's been very few times when I've just walked over, but there's already. I usually have already been over that day.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. So anyway, so I get there. They used to live across the street. Now they live out in the sticks. And so a couple funny things about it. We're driving there, and the baby all of a sudden like looks out the window, and she's like, "Oh my God, are we in the mountains?" And I was like,
You going out west?
Yeah,
Is that where you're going?
Boonesboro.
Okay.
That sounds.
So I was like,
it does.
I was like, kinda.
It's more redneck than any city in Alabama.
Yeah,
I've
probably.
never heard of it. Been there. Don't know where it is.
So I was like, kinda.
The boonies.
Yes,
It's too easy.
yes.
It's too easy.
She was
Too
like,
easy.
so I was like, I was like, kinda, and she was like, oh my God, do you think there'll be polar bears here?
Did you tell her to keep an eye out? You might see one. They stand out this time of year.
I think Laura. Of course, it's not gonna be a fucking polar bear. You know, like,
Who's teaching her geography?
yeah, me probably. But anyway, so we get there, and I haven't seen her there. And like their kids are all grown and shit. He's got a kid, like a junior in high school, and last time I saw him, he was like maybe in 6th grade or something, or it's been a while, 4 years.
Yeah.
Since the last time I saw him, I think, and like his daughter's all grown up, and his daughter, like has become this nice, sweet young lady, and everything. It's just interesting to see. But his son is like, quiet, doesn't say a word, sits at the table, like just like he's got like long hair, don't care, like so like I'm trying to make conversation with the kid. I have a little bit of a history with this kid, and
He knows who you are. I mean,
oh, for sure. Yeah. So like he used to give his mother a bunch of shit. And one time I went over and had a talk with him when because his dad was at work, and we had that kind of relationship, because a good family, those folks are good folks. Yeah, but like so anyway, I'm talking to him. I was like, so what are you into? Sports, anything, and he like this, that, and I was like, what about music? And he was like, mainly rap, probably. And I was like, well, what artists do you listen to? And he was like, I listen to Kanye West a lot. And I was like, I have Yeezys on right now. And he was like, oh, I noticed when you got here, which ties back to your point about kids noticing the fucking shoes left and right. But I do notice people looking and like getting into it, like I'm just dipping my toe in, you might say. But I notice it more.
It's because
that's the first thing I know. I mean, I know
what it is. It's like all these lines of toys are about to be complete, and Bobby's looking for something new to collect.
That's exactly what Laura said.
And he's looking into shoes.
That's what Laura said.
Yeah. I mean, like shoes has always been a big deal, right? Even when we were kids, it's correct. Jordans or pumps.
I mean, that's part of the reason I remember getting bullied for my we called them buddies, your shoe, like your Walmart shoes.
Yeah, so like I never had nice clothes or shoes on them. So like I guess it never mattered to me in that sense. I just know it was a thing, but it always seems like a whole other world. Just like toys collecting is like another world. I don't know how many percent of the population knows that you're wearing something special versus me who just sees that person on shoes.
It's very, I mean, sneakerheads know. I mean, you get the nod, you see somebody else wearing something.
So it's another one of those like smaller markets, which is high value driven by few people.
Yeah. Globally, I'd say that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just wondering if I'm completely out of the loop where everyone knows you fucking wearing something, and I'm like one of 3 guys in the world who doesn't know.
No, it's. I mean, I think you could probably ask 10 people. Do you know what kind of shoe? And if it didn't have a Nike or a swoosh or 3 stripes on it, they're going to.
I know those logos. That's about it.
Yeah,
and New Balance.
If it doesn't have a logo on it, they're not going to recognize the silhouette.
And I think that if I went for so long without.
You were into fashion before.
Yes. And I've always been into fashion to some extent.
Like, I just thought he had to wear squares on his feet.
Yeah, pretty much. I like
half-size motherfucker over here.
And I always like, you know, and but I mean, for the past 15 years, I have basically been under the impression that I couldn't wear much, you know, because of the shape of my feet. I got Fred Flintstone feet. One time I sent a picture. It was like something fucking completely innocent, but like my foot is off to the you can kind of see it. It's not the fucking subject of the photo, but it's definitely there. And I sent it. And Robert D got a hold of it,
of course,
and he sent it back to me, and he was like, "Look at these fucking yabba dabbas." But anyway, like you know, for years I just have kind of gone without, and now I feel like there's like a little bit of like the rubber band snapping back a bit for me, where I'm celebrating it again. Like, oh shit, I feel better wearing them. Like I feel like I feel more put together.
When you get really good at this, you can spot the fakes. And then when I used to work at retail, I actually, my Instagram at one point in time was basically just me taking pictures of fake Jordans. Be like, hey man, where'd you get those? Oh man, I got them at Madison Square Mall. Oh yeah, which store? Man, I don't even remember. I'm like, you got those out of the back of a fucking Cadillac in the parking lot of Madison.
Or like the Chinatown. Those carts.
We ain't got no Chinatown.
But like, what's the point of getting the fake shit when? Do you think you're fooling people though? I guess you're fooling the normies.
There's two things about that
like third party stuff,
right? Well, I mean, you think about there's 2 points to a knockoff. It's you want to act as if, or you don't fucking know and you're a fool, and that's the problem with it.
The second part is I'm fine with, so you just don't fucking know,
right? But that's,
you can't blame somebody for being ignorant.
But that's the part I think that hurts the consumer. I'm sorry, it hurts the company because they're like, man, these Yeezys, I paid $200 for these. And they just fell apart in my hand. The midsole just came unglued.
Well, that's the problem with knockoffs, right? It's always like if you're mistaking for the original brand, that's the problem. That's the problem. Like that's why third parties rise a fine line because it doesn't get mistaken for original.
So then there was we had a very pleasant evening. They cooked for us the whole bit. It was quite nice. But then at the end of the night, him and I got to arguing. You know. And we're both...
You and the kid?
No. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The same thing.
No. Scott and I got to arguing about... and we kind of agree. He just wouldn't let it... Like, and I was like...
It'd be like that sometimes.
It was kind of... The argument was kind of... the argument was whether or not we won Afghanistan.
Oh, okay.
And...
why you get yourself...
Mission success, bro. Why did we have like
Christ,
fucking...
Why did that even come up?
I don't know.
So I'm trying to think how... it came up via Cody. I was telling the story about how Cody wasn't aware of the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812 because he came up in a British education where they don't really, same as us, they don't really harp on their losses.
Right.
They pay more attention to their wins.
Well, when they're the bad guys.
The same as us.
Yeah.
Right? And then he said, I guess that is the same for us. And then Jaina was sitting next and said, well, what wars have we lost? And I was like, well, you could probably say we lost Afghanistan. And then he was like, no, you can't. And then we got into this argument, right? Course. So, but the truth is that like, basically his point was that the initial goal of Afghanistan was to deconstruct Al-Qaeda. It ended up becoming a number of other things. That includes opium, that includes the Taliban, and all of these other things.
I mean, we went through 4 presidencies while we were there, so the agenda changed drastically.
Correct.
From point A to point B to point C to point D.
I wasn't sure the agenda was very clear to begin with, really.
So his point, I agree with. That like you don't really hear about Al-Qaeda anymore. Like it's pretty much a done deal. And they were the more dangerous because their focus was global, whereas the Taliban was kind of more of a homegrown delicacy, if you will.
Homegrown delicacy.
So
that's the way I'd say it.
So like their focus has been and probably will remain to be Afghanistan, whereas the Al Qaeda was like, no, everybody's going to live the exact same way, which is in this fucking cave. And, so I agreed with him on that, but my point was that the scope of what Afghanistan was changed so much that we lost the overwhelming majority of objectives that we did have, even if we did win that objective. So we eventually agreed, but it got intense where like you could tell the wives were uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But like, you know, and then like,
so you had a blast.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Had a great time, and I appreciate they got like fucking chickens now and all this shit. I was like, oh, you're ready for the old end times, aren't you? But
fresh eggs, bro. They're good.
Yeah, I mean, he's got chickens on this side and chickens on that side, so you already know the vibes. It was like chickens on this side of the house, chickens on that side of the house. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else. So I started watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. The new season came out. It's delightful, as to be expected. There's this whole bit about, which I found interesting. I'll pose it to you. Have you ever had a moment in your adult life where, because of your age, something has happened, and as a result, you have thought in some way, shape, or form, does this affect how my wife sees me sexually?
Never.
All right, me neither. No, so
elaborate.
All right, so I'll tell you. So
I live a very different life than normal 40-year-olds.
So in the show, he walks into a glass door, right, and he falls backward, and he's like, "Ah, God, like my head, I feel dizzy, all this," and he's dating Lucy Liu, and. You see, I purposely did it that time.
I was
okay. I was like, yeah.
I was confused too. He has to think about not looking at me when we're speaking.
That was so odd. I had to take a blip to process. Who the fuck's Lucy Liu? Why is he looking at me? What did I do?
We were both confused. I was like, what just happened?
So he's dating Lucy Liu, and Lucy Liu like breaks up with him the next day. Because like she doesn't see him as a sexual creature anymore. She sees him as like this kind of
old man.
This old man who's frail, and you have to be careful with him and all this. And I'm not sure if it's true or not. We're talking about my own insecurities, not necessarily anything actual objective. Like, yeah. But like after I threw my back out for the first time, I was like, oh shit, like I am that guy with a lower back issue. And lower back, that's important for fucking.
Yeah,
and in my head, I've been like, I wonder if, and she would never, even if I asked, like, and I probably have asked her, but even if she would probably never admit it. But
whether that's true or not.
Yeah, and I still get down,
Yeah,
but like my thing is, is there anything in there, anything in that primal female space that's like he's slightly broken?
So I'll be honest with you. I think if you're dating somebody and that happens, it's going to be a different reaction to, I've been with you for 15, 20 years.
Married.
Gold ass. And
I mean, you're both about the same age anyway. So
right,
it's not
exactly.
Like,
yeah, but it doesn't
it's
mean
different when you're dating an older. Yeah. Because, like, I mean, Chris is like 7 years apart. So, like, that's going to be a day when, like, I outage her.
Right.
But today's not that day.
That's what Joe keeps.
It's going to be like, I'm going to be in, like, my 60s by the time. But still, that's big. This is a big gap.
Yeah, for sure. What else did we do? I felt like, so I put together this video for my family of the Disney trip. And
nice, like 80s style film reel kind of thing. Do you add in some edits?
A lot of montages?
So I basically had them all down. We did a podcast. I recorded the podcast, and then I put video that I acquired from there and pictures over top.
No copyright stuff though from Disney though, right?
Who knows?
I'm just fucking around.
But I'm gonna post it on Patreon, like because there is some like we go into we need to do it a little bit more, but we go into like some of like the there's some keys to that shit. There's some keys to unlock in regard to approaching those parks. Like, look, this ride you want to get early. This ride you can wait. This
if you
ride
want to be on that schedule like you, then yes.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get it done, if you want to,
and part of it is,
and many do.
It's the challenging times we live in, Joe. You do have to have a plan. I think more so than you did in 2019 to just wander through the park to see stuff.
Yeah, I never. I mean, I know about lines and shit, but like I always went off season. Like I've been doing the off season like weekday shit, like regardless of movies and dinners and amusement parks for a long time. So when I went, it was not.
I just don't know if Disney has an off season.
That's a different beast versus like King's Dominion or something. Like if you go on a fucking Wednesday afternoon, you're gonna be good.
Yeah, but the nice thing about even King's Dominion is even approaching it aggressively. We're done by lunch, and then.
Why would you want to be done? Why are you rushing?
Because even during an off season, you can wait in line for 45 minutes. So like when I went, we went. Not, I mean,
do they have a fast pass? Like King's Dominion?
No.
I'm not gonna go there then.
I mean, if you go like right when they start opening or right before they start closing when it gets cold, like I don't know.
So we went during a weekday
before school gets out or gets after school gets in.
We went. I say all that to say this:
you would go with kids. Never mind.
Jane and I didn't wait in one line at Kings Dominion, and there were some times where like the guys that were running the ride were just like, "You guys just want to stay on for another?"
Yes,
I've had that happen before.
You just ride for like 3 rounds in a row.
You know, and that's only because of the how. You know, and then it was like just whatever. Then and it's like everybody's in a good time because nobody feels like nobody has to wait in any lines and they can still do whatever they want. And if they want to get back in a line, then they can.
Yeah,
but they don't
later
have
to rewrite.
Yeah,
I think it's different dynamics when you're going with either less people or with just your family. Because like I think it's a different dynamic. You as a father with your wife and kids.
Bobby, if it was just you and Laura there, would you have the same strategy, or would you relax a bit?
Like I always went with like groups where like you just doing this, you bullshitting in the line and just chilling, having fun anyway. Like it's less. The ride is an objective, right?
I don't like a line.
The ride is an objective to get to, but like the journey is fine. It's not this.
Yeah,
like,
the journey's not okay
thing.
with me.
I don't like hanging out with people more than.
Well, I do. I just like hanging out with people that I want to hang out with. I don't want to hang out with these people down here. This fucking
no, that's what I'm saying. You're going as a group of friends. When you're younger, you would go with like a fucking rack of people, like 8-10 people, all your friends, and you would just be bullshitting through the line. You wouldn't even know that you fucking.
Well, I wouldn't because I was still like, hey, yo, we're gonna go do this. Come on, like we're gonna go do this. We're gonna go do this.
We're never going with him.
No, never.
Me and you can go.
Yeah, we can go.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I might meet you for lunch but it's probably at a very specific place at a very specific time.
Yeah, for sure.
On his schedule.
Yeah, exactly. I know this going in. I know this.
Correct. So anyway,
I feel stressed out just thinking about it. I'm like, I don't even want to go anymore.
So anyway, I did this video and then I did it so that I could send it to my dad or whatever. Also, but then I also like I wanted to put it on Patreon, so I went back through and put skull faces all over all the pictures and everything else.
That's a lot of edits.
So I'm going to tell you, it might not be 100% right. So I'm just throwing it to the wolves when I put it on. Just let me know if my face. I'll take it down and fix it and put it back up.
I thought AI would be smart enough nowadays where you can just tell AI anytime you see this face,
there may be some program.
Put a skull over it. That's got to be. That's fucking got to be.
But
when are you going to start doing commissions? Family vacation videos.
Oh, I'm down to do it. But
when people send in I know
it sucks. I know it sucks. It's a lot of work.
Someone's going to send you 8 hours worth of footage for you to cut down into half an hour.
The shit that so the Disney video is an hour and 18 minutes.
What's that face?
That is I would not want any part of that.
Yeah, my price would be outrageous.
I would not want to be involved with filming 8 hours of anything.
Because that is a thing. I mean, usually business VHS where they like actually splice fucking tape together, which is insane.
My price would be gem and the holograms. Like it'd be truly outrageous. Like it would.
But it's got Bobby Skullface.
I get the Misfits to do it. Their songs are better anyway.
You're not wrong. But anyway.
I mean, I'd rather bang the Misfits than.
I mean, why not? The metal chicks are always
exactly.
Be more.
It probably took me 12 hours to put together the video.
That's. So I mean, for yourself.
So like, but I wanted the grandparents to be able to see it and all that kind of stuff.
And I think that'd be something the kids can look at.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. And it's funny. Like, there's some funny memories that are, the Big Wheels conversation is on there. And
yes. So the thing is, like many other people our age. In the 80s, my parents, like my dad had like a little camcorder. I'm sure it was a thing.
Yeah.
Like dads with camcorders. So we have somewhere all these tapes of family vacations or whatever. And I remember we would watch them like once or something after they're done 20 years ago.
Right.
Never to be seen again. So is it going to be one of those things that's going to be worth the effort to put in the sauce?
So I don't know. And I'll tell you why. The only other video I've ever done like this was for Celebration. That was in 2019. So only 2 years, but we have not gone back
to watch it.
To watch it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I feel like in 5 years I can make that call.
Yeah. So I think it's a nostalgia thing, like with any other possession. It's like just the idea of having it more so than actually
utilizing
like
it.
Just having something in the bin. It's like, oh yeah, I have my G1 in the bin.
Yeah.
Not actually need, like if someone could have stolen the bin, you don't even know you don't have the bin anymore, but in your head you have it.
Yeah.
Just like all these fucking terabytes of pictures we have on our phones.
Oh my God.
Right.
I look for a picture. I knew about what, because I just put them in chronological order. I think it was like 2 years. And I found it, believe it or not. Just kind of scrolling through half-heartedly.
So I spent most of my weekend doing that, honestly, and then what else? Oh, so this is interesting. I had a conversation with an ex third-party designer.
Freelance or a specific company? Because I know a lot of them they just sell designs to whoever.
So I think you would categorize him as freelance. However, he worked with a specific company for a long time.
Retainer.
So I'm not going to give away any information on what company.
Oh, okay.
But the conversation is going to go on Patreon, and excerpts from it are going to go on a sit-down Saturday that I have coming that's planned.
Looking forward to it.
But what's interesting about it is, he dealt pretty much directly with the owner of said third-party company, and hearing like the direction he would get.
Oh, that would probably be very interesting.
It's fascinating
to know, So is this something you're going to be able to publish in some capacity?
Excerpts from it I'm going to use for an upcoming video about something almost entirely off topic from that.
Okay.
But it was just some of the shit that he was saying, and like how our paths have kind of almost intersected 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm. Is this an American gentleman?
So he is from the West.
Okay.
He hit me up and he was basically like, "Look, man," he's like, I've been a fan of your channel for a long time. You've provided me countless entertainment. I'm kind of out of it now, but maybe I could give a little bit back."
Did he take any advice?
Did he take any advice?
Like, you know how he watched a review, right? He's a fan, so like he would say how you critique.
You know what? I didn't
goes into.
That's a damn good question, Joe.
Yeah, I didn't ask.
Round 2
should have had me there, bro.
Yeah, and we are going to talk again, and because we kind of had to, we were kind of under time constraints. I only had him for about an hour, so to speak, and we had to kind of hit the ground running. But it was just fascinating. He would get stuff like, "Look, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this. I wanted to have these elements from the cartoon. And here's a picture of the alt mode, a real life vehicle alt mode that I wanted to look exactly like this. That was just all Google search. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
But among other things, and even he gets into some of like why certain character choices were made. So like, and some of this we already know, right? But like, if Takara makes a rumor of Takara Hot Rod coming, so to speak, and then all of a sudden you get these companies jumping on an RC, and the thought is that I think a lot of these companies don't value themselves the way that we value them, but I think a lot of them see their product as a companion piece to something else. Could be official, could be another third-party piece has already proven itself to be successful.
Right.
But a lot of times they do often consider like, well, the only reason I'm going to do this is because then we could probably sell this. Or we could, there's a lot of little like, if you're interested in that sort of stuff, like the nuts and bolts.
Do you talk about how much he gets paid per design?
So he actually did.
Okay. I don't just spoil it here. I want to listen to it, but like that's interesting because I wonder, because it's one of those things like, a lot of professions I think about how people make a living. It's like, how much do you get paid for certain things to make a living off of it? So it's like a mattress salesman. How much money do you make per mattress, man? How many mattresses are you possibly selling?
So one of the things that's kind of fascinating about it is he was talking about an upcoming third-party piece that's high. That's a high. I mean, we're talking $250 to $300 price range, and he was like, that figure probably costs $26 to make, and he was like, and I was like, I believe you, but I also believe that what you're saying isn't a accurate view of it. And he's like, you're right, it's not. So $26, because I hear people say that
cost, right?
It's material, assembly, packaging, out the door cost, but it's not factoring in design cost, redesign, prototype,
factory,
mold. Mold would not be factored into that,
which is expensive.
Yeah, so $50,000 to $60,000 per mold.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. So like, you add that in, then you add in like another 10 to 20 for design.
Are you saying mold for the whole figure, or just give or take?
So I should have specified, because theoretically one figure is going to have a few molds.
Yeah.
You know,
pieces.
So even if you just break it down by what the colors are, it's probably a mold for each.
That's probably the best way to do it.
So let's just look. What do we have here?
Let's take Rung.
Yeah. So he's got
the recently released
really
Mastermind Creations Rung.
3 colors?
Three colors. Four.
Paint app.
There's the gray, the white, the orange, and this tan.
That's all cast or
Yes.
injection molded in those colors.
Yes. So I'm gonna say that's four molds. So I don't know if that 50 to 60 is per mold or
I'm imagining this per full figure.
I would have to at that point.
Yeah.
But like
ballpark, you know, depending how big the figure is and all that good stuff.
But what he said and what others have said recently to me is that a lot of these companies aren't making their profits until the second release or repaint. But at that point, they're looking at almost clear profit.
Yes. You pay, it's paid for itself now. Now everything is in the pocket.
But almost the initial release is almost entirely used to get the money back for the investment.
Yeah, and you got to calculate like how many pulls you can get out of a mold before it degrades too much.
Exactly.
Unless you're Takara and you just keep printing like loose figures anyway.
Or a few others. But yeah.
But yeah, that's the prominent, you know,
yes.
to me.
Milk the mold.
Like, how many times can you do MP10, bro?
Yeah. So that was pretty. It was a pretty interesting conversation. I want to be able to touch base with him again.
And you said he came to you?
Yeah, and he
that's awesome.
And he was very cool. I actually said that because he's now the second designer that has come to me, and so to speak, and you know, I'm having conversations with, and like I don't know if and I say this in the conversation. I don't want to give all away, but like I'm like, man, like I don't know if it's me. Like I like if like to be a fan of my channel, you can't just be like a total fucking loser ass bozo. Like, you know, and I know that sounds crazy, but like, you know, like because like every and the only reason why I say that is because like I happen to bump into all these guys and they're all cool as shit, and like we start talking like we've known each other for years, like and it often plays into people that I meet at the tables and stuff where I'm like, oh shit, like a cool dude, and then I'm looking at the other dude wiping his boogers on his nose at the table across from me, and I'm like, I don't want him over.
Well, he's not part of the cool table.
Well, maybe he doesn't listen to this podcast.
Exactly.
And then there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, and I'm drawing a blank, like I'm underlining nothing.
There's a lot of cool people in Australia and Germany.
Yeah, we made the top 100 in Germany for the first time, Australia for the second or third,
and podcasting
and entertainment news podcast specifically,
which is a big category.
Yeah, it is a big category.
I would assume like top 100 in there specifically.
Well, they don't have categories for us yet, like nerd or geek or pop culture or anything that was like remotely close to that.
I'll be less surprised if we were charting on some minute fucking category no one cares about.
You know, I listened back for the first time, I guess since the new board, and I'm pretty impressed by what this little machine will do. Like the early days of Nerd Rage, before even I was involved, the audio was always up and down, and even we've had our issues, but this thing, I mean, everybody sounds the same level. I'm not having to hold one ear out while
and Joe doesn't sound low anymore, and he only has to use one mic.
Yep,
that's right.
I kind of missed the other mic.
He's not double fisting. He's not He's not skiing.
No, double barrel.
There you go.
I'm surprised you were listening back because like you haven't listened back in a while. I used to listen back like every episode, but now it's like time constraint.
That's it. Yeah, I used to always just listen for the audio, make sure, look at the audio. But
yeah, I listen.
Happen to pop on and see it.
I listen to each one for the greatest hits, but I'm a few episodes behind now. I'm a few episodes behind.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good.
I've done pretty good. I've done pretty good. I feel like there was so review wise, I got this fucking Soundwave.
Yep.
You know what? Let me go get it real quick. You guys can fuck with it while I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to see the review or see pictures?
I saw pictures.
I watched. If I'm being honest, Bobby, on your Transformer reviews, I watched your final thoughts, and I did watch, and I wanted to see the comparison with the Takara.
I watch when I'm on the road and haven't been on the road yet since the release. Yes, I specifically watch videos when I'm driving.
No, there's
driving
no danger
is boring otherwise.
Around here, there's definitely no danger of that.
I mean, I'm on autopilot anyway when I drive.
So like here's the thing about
That's very too accurate.
And I feel like yeah, and I feel like I'm going to be talking about this in more detail in months to come. I feel like
Until you vomit.
yeah, but so here's the thing about this, and I subjected myself to a little bit of the comments before I ran away. People, I was reading some of the comments, I was reading some of the tweets, some of the ads that I was in. People think I hate this, but I don't.
That happens a lot, though.
Yeah.
When people's reaction to your video is opposite of what you say in the video.
Yeah, that's old FT for you. But like, I just find it. I think when I don't love something, people think I hate it. But like, I just find it like it's great, and it also bores the shit out of me. That's it.
I have the same. I know how you feel. It's my argument with people when I say something is good but overrated. They want to argue with me that it's good. I'm like, I'm not saying it's not good, bro.
There's nothing to argue about.
So I'll say this, you know, having owned the Takara before and seen it countless amounts of times.
It's iconic.
This might have been the least needed replacement if you were going to replace something. And if I was still collecting Masterpiece, as much as I loved fan toys, I doubt I would replace the Takara.
Yeah,
I don't know that it could really get.
It's definitely more cartoon accurate. But like, I just
like, is it because you don't? So Takara has been going more cartoon accurate for a while.
Yeah, so it's like
I mean, they're just following suit.
Yeah, like it's funny because. Like, I feel like Fans Toys was like, you know, Takara was like kind of a stylized G1, and then Fans Toys kind of did a stylized G1. Now Takara's done the cartoon, now Fans Toys is doing the cartoon, but now they're both just boring me. And at least if Fans Toys did a character that I don't already have, but it's like they're just doing a character that I already have in a style that I don't like as much.
And they have apparently designs for every fucking thing in the world.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it does speak for something because this was one of the first things they talked about making,
Yeah,
right?
it was FT02, I think.
So it was, and then Takara released and they backed off. Right. But
so
I
think it's
guarantee you this
important
is
for them to get them
completely
out.
different than whatever that was.
No, it looks completely different. But this will go better with the new Takara stuff, though.
For real. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it might be strategic. Like, this looks great.
It does. It does. Like, but that's the. I think that like, what people are confused about is that the overwhelming majority of my issues with this figure are entirely subjective. Objectively, I think it's great.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Really
it's
good.
very
It's
accurate
really
to the.
It just seems soulless to me, man.
Yep. I agree.
You know, and like I hate to say it, it's like Dracula when he's talking to Mina in the bed before Van Helsing jumps in. He's like, "There is no life in this body." When he puts her hand up to his chest, like that's how I feel about it. It feels like a toy. It looks like a toy. It doesn't.
Is it because of the color?
So I don't think that helps it. I think it
looks plasticky.
Had
This
that blue been
painted.
metallic painted blue, I think it would have had me.
Yeah, I think that's why. Because like the other parts, the blue really stands out as plastic, but at the same time, when you transform it, it looks like a plastic cassette player.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's strategic, or
I don't
just
know.
like serendipitous.
Yeah.
Like I think this is definitely better. If I didn't have a Takara one and I was still collecting, I would buy one of these.
See, I don't know.
If you didn't have a Takara one,
I don't know.
You think you would get a Takara one instead?
Yeah, but and the only reason why I say it is because I have both now. I'm going to use him as an alt mode.
Wow. And you're a defender.
And I'm a defender. You know, but that's the thing is like, you know, it doesn't, like, I don't hate it. I still think it's probably the best third-party sound. It's definitely the best third-party sound wave made to date. It might be the best sound wave made to date. It just doesn't mean that I like it as much.
How much is this?
$250.
Whew.
Yeah.
How much is it getting a Hasbro one?
So
the yellow eyes.
So I think they were around 120.
That's half price.
Yeah.
But people wanted the Takara because of the red eyes, but you can just fucking paint the eyes red, bro. It's not that big a deal.
The Takara one was only like 150 to 180 somewhere in there. It was expensive for the time, but now it's laughable by Takara standards.
Yeah.
Like it'd be $8,000 a day.
How many tapes does this guy come with? Just the one, right?
Uno and its Frenzy,
See,
which is a fucking backdoor deal also,
Yes.
right?
That's fucked up.
It's not a complete set.
So that's a big fuck you.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you get the what you call you get three tapes. You get You get the dog, the two dudes, and the bird.
Well,
In
that
the
was
Hasbro
that was
set.
the Hasbro set, though, not the
Takara set. But the Takara set still came with Laserbeak, though.
Yes.
And Laserbeak and Soundwave is a complete set. Do you see what I'm saying?
I feel like you need the dog.
So listen,
Bro.
listen. You're not wrong, but Soundwave and Laserbeak, that's a total package. Soundwave and Ravage is a total package.
Okay.
Soundwave and Rumble is a total package. Soundwave and Frenzy
It's not.
incomplete.
Well,
Soundwave and Buzzsaw incomplete.
Bro, why would you even put that? What about Frenzy and Rumble with Soundwave? Both the dudes. And how many people am I pissing off by calling it the dog?
Oh, there's just a fucking.
First we cracked the shell.
If Soundwave came with the two dudes,
There goes our German listeners.
The prices are all over the place, and part of the reason is apparently this is a heavily bootlegged item because there's some for like 70, but it looks like
because I have the Hasbro one because it was a set.
125 and 200 for the.
That's a great.
Yeah.
It was a great price.
A great price for a great
value.
set.
And it's not hard to fucking paint the eyes red.
Yes, that's true. Well, for most.
Or who cares?
Or who cares?
People do.
Or who cares?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
That's the big fuck you though.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
That's what I'm angry about, not anything else.
It's purposely saying you got to buy this other set. Whereas I feel like if it just came with Laserbeak,
yeah.
if like
They had the choice of the bird or the dog,
especially with the MMC options out there that a lot of people have gone with for their masterpiece tapes.
Yes.
If it came with Laserbeak, you could just swap out the whole Takara and be good.
Yes. So
Or a Rat Bat. And I'll tell you why.
You had
I'll
to buy
tell you
a Rat
why.
Bat. I had to buy a Rat Bat.
Because of what Takara did with that Sound Blaster. If they
Yes.
said, look, we're going to fix that for you.
Yes.
Then you could keep all your Takara tapes and have Rat Bat and keep your Soundwave. That would have been a fan-forward thing to do also.
Yes. That would be thinking for the consumer.
Correct.
They don't have a Megatron, right?
No.
Are they going to make a Megatron?
I don't
assume
know.
so, right?
I don't know. I don't know what their plan is because I feel like they have an irrational fear of Takara.
I mean, I don't know if it's irrational.
I think
I think if
they were coming, they'd have come already.
Well, yeah, but I think I think they're scared of. I think they're scared of the competition.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that
Depends on the price, though, right?
The only competition, there's only one company that's competing with them, a third party now.
Well, the people
two,
who
but
would
it's
have
the same
gotten
company.
X-Transbots and MMC on a good day.
people who would have
but
gotten
not
the
even
Takara Megatron would have already had it. Everyone else is either outpriced them or they don't think it's worth it.
So I agree with you there too.
If the Fans Toys one is cheaper, they would get all that entire market that skipped out on Takara's.
I agree. But what I'm saying is that I feel like every time Takara, even this, my guess is that a Takara Soundwave 2.0 is coming. That's my guess. My guess is that's why this is coming out under Robot Paradise instead of Fans Toys proper.
Perfect Fusion.
Same type of deal. Slightly different.
Is that the thing what they did with the second Dinobot?
Yes, it was the second Dinobot, and it was also going to be for Cyclonus, but then they double backed on that and put it back out as Fans Toys.
Yeah, they redid. Well, Scoria named it something different. I never held it, but it apparently had less diecast in it.
Yeah,
did you review that?
Yeah, the Cesium. I have it as my.
You actually have it?
Yeah,
the
one of the modes,
cheaper
right?
one.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't realize you had it.
But I'll tell you, I'm not sure. I think he's my dinosaur because he looks less like a potato.
Yeah, he's got. Yes, you're right. That was the first one,
and that was the only one they redid. Right?
Yeah,
they didn't redid any of them because that was the one with the first release and had a problem, and it basically fixed it.
Yeah, and it was just an aesthetic issue. Yeah, and even that it was like for its time, it was still leagues ahead.
I mean, they put them where they are now.
Yeah,
but I asked about the Megatron to say this. I think the proper choice, right, for the fans would be if they had Soundwave with the dog, and then they also announced at the same time
Megatron with the laser beak, and then
I'm just gonna call it the dog and the bird just to piss people off.
Fine.
I'm surprised that you give him dog credit.
What?
I'm surprised that you give him dog
instead of cat.
Yeah, because you're a cat person.
Yep.
Well, not a cat person, but you're into cats.
I have a butthole. First of all,
that's right.
I got that from I say it all the time, but I actually got it from a Jim Jeffries stand-up. Mm-hmm. He was like, went to this lady's house when I was a kid, and she said, my dad said she was a real cat person. You can imagine my disappointment when I showed up and she was just really into cats.
Exactly.
So, Joe, you got your coffee first. Chris, how was your nerd week?
Oh my gosh, short and busy.
Yeah, it's been three fucking days, bro.
busy.
We recorded Friday, and now it's Tuesday.
So my birthday was Saturday. My wife asked me what I wanted to do.
In the butt.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
That's the only correct answer.
Well, either way,
That wasn't the answer, was it?
no, it wasn't. It was not. But
Stop.
we're a full tilt grinding out, getting ready for this Legions Con show this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
New products, old products.
Is that in Jersey?
It is in Super North Jersey. It's in Wayne. It's like north of New York City. You basically have to go to New York City to get there.
Nice.
So we're going up Saturday. Probably get there midday Saturday. Go to because Toy Con is that weekend too. So we're going to go to Toy Con. And then Sunday it's Legions Con at Toy Con. It's very confusing to explain to people. It's an existing toy show and they're just having an extra room that's for Legions Con.
Kind of like what New Jersey Collectors Con did with NECA.
Yes, except that the Legions Con event is completely separate and you have to pay separate admission to come into it.
That sucks.
A lot of people are coming just for that. But either way, so we're building our asses off. We're 85% done. We need to be done in like 3 days. I have no business sitting here talking to y'all today. But
As a matter of fact, he's leaving right now.
But yeah, no, I left plenty of direction, and I think Kelly's on top of everything. We just got some little minutia things to finish up. So we've been grinding away on that. That being said, I knew we needed to go to Lowe's and buy some material. So I said, why don't we do this? She's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? Like, why don't we get up early? We'll go eat Waffle House.
Yes. Bro, I've been
And then we'll go to Lowe's. So we got up at 8 o'clock out the door, went to Waffle House, ate more food than I deserved to eat.
How did you get your hash brown?
Scatter covered, smothered, chunked, and dice.
There you go. How many waffles you get?
Just one waffle.
You get a second one for like $1 though.
Yeah, she didn't offer. It was weird. Well, I did have an Alabama conversation there because the girls. You guys ever? I guess
At Waffle House.
you need to put those two things together. But they asked, "Have you ever been here?" Because the menu's not very.
It's one.
You're going to miss out on a lot at Waffle House if you don't know your way to. And she even said they've taken some stuff off the menu, like they've taken the steak and chicken off of there. It's still there.
But it's
you
still
just have
there,
to know. And like half the things I called out for my potatoes, they don't show on the menu. Well, she said, "You ever?" Was like, "Yeah, we haven't been here in a while, but we're where we're from. Because they're based in Atlanta, so they're all over the South." And there was a guy at a booth behind it. Did you say something about Alabama? Yes, sir, I did. I just got done working down there. He does the. You ever heard of a show called
Cirque du Soleil?
Except this is what we're going to do. You know that old drainage ditch off 27? We're just going to put a trapeze above it. You guys ever heard of a show called, I believe it's...
They're a bunch of French clowns. Ain't funny at all.
Kept trying to touch me, but they never would. I was waiting on one of them to spit in their hand. I believe it's called Restaurant Impossible, where there's some fail. I believe it's that show. He does all the flooring anytime they need flooring. He travels the country. And he's based in Frederick.
That's good money.
Yeah,
and so he's based in Frederick.
There were some places in. He was telling us where it was. I'm like, yeah, I know where that is.
It's crazy that like Frederick, our little city of Frederick, has like a lot of good shit in it.
Yeah.
Like Krista just made an appointment for microblading her eyebrows.
Oh yeah,
a year out. That's how good this lady that does microblading eyebrows is.
She might not even have eyebrows by then.
I mean, that's the point of microblading. You don't need eyebrows to get the microblader.
Is that what they do in the middle of the mall with like the
No, that's when they like cut little fucking grooves in your fucking skin and it looks like eyebrows.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's called microblading.
I never heard of that. I know people have got
but it's a very good one in Frederick apparently.
Wow.
So
they like do the micro, like they use the tiny little cuts across your fucking eyebrows.
I stand by Manaloo.
I'm going Friday.
Oh, are you really?
For lunch. Yeah. That's a date.
I know people that could do those cuts for you. Probably wouldn't be as clean though.
They're in prison, but
it's not your out wait. Like they'll do it like tonight.
Yeah, it's half price. We're not cleaning up any blood though. That was we just kind of hung out. Basically, I worked all weekend on diorama shit. Finalizing one final design and tweaking it and starting production I've been running the laser cutter. I smell like a campfire right now.
Yeah, when are you gonna be done with that shit?
Look at this guy. He's like, yeah. When you got some time for me? Actually, after this,
How often does that bother you? Once a year? Twice a year?
it's fine. You can bother me whenever. But
I know that
next week will be great.
Next week I'm off a bunch.
Okay. Well, we can
look
work
at that.
something out. Yeah.
I already have material at your house. I hope it's flat by now. It's been flat for months.
It hasn't been flat. It's still rolled. But if you tell me now you want it over the weekend while I'm gone, I will try to remember to lay it out.
Yeah, I would like to comb.
I did not. Nice. I did not get Joe a PS5, although that's 3 o'clock today.
I was 3 o'clock. I was trying to look at it, but I didn't want to be too distracted for the show.
If you read the message, it says it's Walmart at 3 o'clock.
I'm trying to read the message and be distracted while I'm on here, bro. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
But I want you to tell people there's a difference between Waffle House waffle, a real ass American Waffle House waffle, and this bullshit that you get at restaurants.
A Belgian waffle. Yeah, it's very different. I enjoy them
People
both.
trying to tell me it's the same. It's not the fucking same.
It's something to do with the depth because the Waffle House waffle is very thin.
Leaner, and it's got the small squares.
It's got the small squares.
And because of that, the texture is different.
That's right. You don't have as many directionals getting crispy.
The crisp to soft ratio.
I did have a pecan waffle.
As far as waffles, pancakes, French toast, where are they in your hierarchy?
French toast, waffles, pancakes.
Pancakes at the bottom, specifically Waffle House waffles at the top, and French toast in the middle. But any other,
So you guys are the same.
Yeah.
No, I said French toast first.
Oh, you said French toast first. That's right.
French toast is normally first for me.
And it depends on it depends on the French toast, to be honest, because it's wildly different.
That's
from place to
true.
place. But
Unfair.
Number one though is Bobby's French toast. I fucking love Bobby's French toast.
Bobby's French toast.
I'm making me French toast.
I like Bobby's French toast, and I'd say Cracker Barrel makes a damn French toast too.
Yes, I've
If
heard
I'm allowed
that.
to say that. I don't know.
Would you call me? I think that for me, it's pancakes, waffles, French toast.
Really?
Yeah.
I love a pancake. To me, there's so many variables with pancakes. Like it's even more
We just
variables.
discussed the variables of
It's very
French toast.
I understand, but I'm not trying to.
I don't know. Pancakes kind of boring. It's just dough. It's just I don't know.
Dude.
It's just like when you talk about, I like cakes a lot, right? Regular cakes are almost desserts, like, but that's not my go-to. That's like kind of bottom tier when it comes to dessert because it's just boring.
I hate to hear it. Hate to hear it.
Yeah,
I love a good pancake, and I like how they look aesthetically, like
Or the
stacked
stack?
up with the butter on top and the syrup pouring down the sides.
listen. Don't get me wrong.
I like it.
Given the opportunity, I'm
not
gonna fuck
bad.
up some pancakes. But you asked me to put things in order, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what
No, I respect your answers.
I love all. There's very few breakfast foods I snub my nose
what
at.
if we threw funnel cake in there though?
Funnel cakes.
It's a different
It's
beast.
a different.
It doesn't belong as a competitor.
I agree. I agree, but
It's more of it.
apparently
It's in the
they made
donut.
it
It's in the
same thing.
donut competition.
But they made it the same thing apparently. The dough is very the pour is very similar to a fucking waffle.
Yeah,
or
but
pancake.
it's you do it into the
You fry it.
the
That's the
fry.
difference. Is you
Fry
fry it. But like the composition of what it's made of is very similar to a waffle and a
See, it
pancake.
strikes me more as a donut.
Donut might be made of the same shit too. I don't know. Because donuts are fried.
So
But
donuts.
also donuts is regular donuts and old fashioned. The cake donut.
What do you?
That's where it is.
I like a cake donut.
Yeah,
I like
too.
a cake donut.
They call
myself.
it old fashioned at some places.
I like
Yeah,
an old
like
fashioned.
Dunkin'
cake
Donuts.
cake and old fashioned aren't necessarily the same thing because cake usually has like a sweet almost coating on it.
Yeah, crunchy. Kind
Yes,
of,
yes.
But like the old
Crisp.
fashioned, I mean,
The old-fashioned is
Dunkin',
like the-
the old fashioned.
yeah.
That's if I go there, I'm ordering two old
The
fashioned.
interior texture is the same.
Yes.
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 Yeah, it's just a little crispier. in
But I
some
prefer that to regular donut. Either one of those to a regular donut.
Box of Munchkins. What's your go-to?
The donut holes?
Yeah. So that the box is open. You're gonna have yourself one. Which one are you looking for?
You get the powdered, the regular, or the chocolate.
No, there's
That's the
four,
three.
right?
Is there
so
four? What's the
so
fourth
there's
one?
there's chocolate, powdered, cake, and
Glazed.
glaze.
I had no idea you knew so much about Munchkins.
And actually, I think there's cream filled ones
Hey, how's
too.
that Lollipop Guild?
They're on
How
the
they
side
do?
of the box.
Oh, okay, great.
The filled ones aren't real munchkins. They're not actual donut holes because they're made.
No, I agree. So let's just do
I don't
those
even
four.
count those.
So let's
That's
just
fake.
do. All right. So what's your
We're
first?
serious about our cereals and our breakfast items are very serious here.
What's your first pick and what's your last pick?
Cake and then glazed. Powder's last. I'm not a big fan of powder.
I'm gonna go powdered last just because it's.
you guys.
Well, listen, it
We're
depends.
doing opposite.
I don't even know you guys, man.
It's always gonna
If
say
I'm,
vibes,
if
bro.
I'm by myself, I'll go after the powdered. I'm just not trying to get that powder on my Yeezys, Bobby. If I'm being honest, so it's a situational thing.
Yeezys
But
with a
I'm
K.
probably gonna go the jelly filled one.
We're not counting that.
No, we're not
That's
counting
just
that.
fake.
So probably chocolate classic, and then the
you're going-
powdered last.
And what about glazed?
Oh, that's the classic glaze, whatever.
All right. So where's cake?
Shit, there's 4
Yeah,
years.
there's 4. The fifth one was that we kicked out was the jelly one.
Every time somebody brings Munchkins around, I'm like, why the fuck didn't you just bring donuts?
It's a different beast. I like Munchkins. I like Munchkins.
And they're like bite size.
I don't know. I probably just whatever I reach in and grab, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna.
You don't make a selection. You know, just gaze. Oh yeah,
and then I'm also gonna say, why the fuck didn't they go to Krispy Kreme?
So mine. Really, you're a Krispy.
I like Krispy Kreme
over Dunkin'
all day.
Regular donut. When it comes to the regular glazed donut. Fucking Krispy Kreme. Fresh Krispy Kreme all day.
I disagree.
Krispy Kreme, a hot dozen at Krispy Kreme is a different. I'm going to say it's a different experience.
It's too sweet.
It's
too sweet.
Krista says the same thing. So that's a thing with it being real sweet.
It's too sweet. I prefer the Dunkin'. But I'm going for Munchkins. I'm going glaze, powdered, cake, chocolate.
I know powder donuts are like a staple. I don't understand the appeal.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's dry, but you like dry shit, just like your face. And your hands. You hate a lotion.
I hate a lotion. I do, and I know it's not good for me. But I got this elbow thing. We're just talking about putting CBD cream on this shit, and like I haven't been doing it because the weather's gotten cooler, and I don't want the moist elbow bumping up against the fabric of the sweatshirt, causing me discomfort.
So you know it dries over time, right? So if you don't immediately put 2 sweatshirts on every time,
he needs to dry. He needs to be able to start a fire with his own body at any given moment.
When I grip, I want to have every ounce of skin, nothing slippery on
hesitation.
Me. Nothing slippery.
My nerd week is essentially I kind of binged The Expanse as I've been working
for the 4th time.
Yeah, well,
I was just telling Chris how you watched the entire series 3 times and we haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, so I'm middle of season 3 right now, I think.
It's unreal.
Is Westworld still a thing? I feel like there's another show that another live action show that I really enjoyed that I didn't finish.
I don't know.
Westworld?
You know what? I watched the first season of Westworld. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I watched the first season.
I kind of got stuck in the middle of the second season.
That's what people said.
Like,
there's a third one though, right? With the Asian people.
Yeah, there's a. Well, I don't know.
I saw.
No, the second season gets into samurai world, so that's for the Asian.
Okay, I need to watch it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't enjoy it.
The first season either.
No, I watched it all the way through. I just didn't care for it. Like
from a concept standpoint, you didn't.
I think even the concept I like. I think I like the concept. I just didn't. Maybe I didn't like the execution, or I'm not sure.
Characters were interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you what it was. Maybe I didn't connect to any character, but at the end of it, I was just like, I didn't regret seeing it. I appreciated having seen it, but I wasn't like there were people in my work, especially that were like they were getting on forums. They'd never been on a forum in their life trying to figure out like crack the code and shit. And I just never had that appeal to me.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it for me. I mean, I watched. I don't know, nothing else of consequence. Got a trillion birthday messages. Thank you to everybody who sent me one, whether it was call, fax, pigeon, text, comment on a post.
Are you equal opportunity acceptor of birthday wishes?
Meaning what exactly?
Like I know people that are like my buddy Jimmy, the guy who I made by Zune. He
send him an apology letter every year.
Yeah, I should. He wants a phone call.
On his birthday?
Yeah, he wants a phone call.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
That's a lot of phone calls to be taking, bro.
It's a lot of phone calls.
Even if you only have like a normal amount of friends, that's a lot.
I prefer you just write on my Facebook wall so I don't have to do anything.
Some people don't like it.
That's the birthday wish for me, is I don't have to send you a thanks. I don't have to
you just like a thumbs up?
I don't have to do that. So I never get on Facebook.
I did a little bit of a dirty trick this year, and I posted Jordan wearing the 4.5 just on my wall, and then everything was under there. I'm like, oh. Then I just, and then you always put thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. It's nice to be remembered, whatever. And then there's those people. So I thought about saying thank you everyone who wished me a late happy birthday yesterday. It really means a lot that you remember me the day after, and just see who comments on that. And then
it was going to happen.
And then like if you've yet to comment, I will be deleting you off my friends. I'm just kidding. Or maybe
you didn't get none from me. Hope by this time you've known me enough not to take offense. I don't wish people happy birthdays.
I'm fine with it. And with that, Joseph,
I have one thing to add into my nerd week real quick. We were God came up when we were on
from like on high.
What she looked like
in conversation, and Leia said, and I was like, you know about God? And Leia said, oh, I know God. He live up in the clouds. And Selena said, nah, it's just where his base is.
That's right. He's at Astroworld.
I just made a point to write that down.
Man. But kids get indoctrinated young. That's why people like religion is a choice. I'm like, sometimes it's not, man. When you're fucking grown into it. Not even just Christianity, just in general, wherever you are,
yeah.
whatever you're born into. If you're born into a religious household,
You don't know any different. It's just the way the world
culture,
is.
and it's hard to like not believe in it.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you, like I don't believe. I believe in higher power. I believe in all that stuff.
Yep.
I don't believe in the Bible in a literal sense. There's things I believe about it, and there's values that I believe in it.
Good stories.
But growing up and being raised Catholic, like for at least the first 5 to 6 years of my life, like I still like if I say something crazy like about God, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll apologize. Like in my head, like I'll be like, I didn't mean it. Or if something goes left, I'll pray. Like I default.
I was gonna say,
it's like my subconscious defaults to that training.
That's powerful indoctrination. Like I'm agnostic, right? Like I don't know one way or the other. There's probably a higher power out there,
right?
Like that's pretty seem like likely, but I'm not gonna pretend I know. Like these people know what it is, and it might be nothing. But when that fucking plane ride gets a little bumpy.
Right,
it's Jesus,
right,
or it's some because I don't know any better. I have no one
atheists
else
in the foxhole, like the famous expression.
Yeah, I have no other deity to pray to, so it's like the Christian God.
Yeah, dude.
But like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Dude, get off your knees praying that porcelain God, man. White porcelain God.
Dude, I haven't drank in a long time. You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers don't understand how long your teeth is and still getting wild.
I mean, that's a quote from Menace to Society.
Yeah,
I had the dope ride.
My favorite quote from Menace to Society. Well, there's one
I've got lots of favorite quotes.
I often will do it anytime somebody says Cain. I'll go Kern.
Yeah.
But the other one that I'll quote is like anytime I'm like arguing with Evan, you know, from who Nerd Rage listeners know, and we're arguing about race or whatever, and I'm like, it ain't easy being black in America. The hunt is on.
My favorite one is I said with cheese, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, classic.
And then, hey, y'all want some cheeseburgers?
Yeah, dude. And
shoots those two people.
And I was sitting on some bullshit. I say that.
I was sitting on some bullshit. Yeah. I need some rims bad, but I damn sure wasn't gonna pay for them. I'll take your rims, your stereo, and I'll take a double burger with cheese.
And for like anytime I hear computer love, by like I'm like,
me too.
I'm immediately taking
comes
that
to mind.
Yeah. Joe,
this has been 3 days. I've done nothing of significance. I've watched a lot of Forged in Fire, twitched a lot, but like I love that goddamn show. I'm like episode 29.
Is there a whole thing on there, or is it just
it's 37 episodes?
37 episodes.
So yeah, I don't know how streaming services work, but
No
even when you get deals to like broadcast certain things, you only get a certain amount of episodes sometime. Yeah, I think these episodes are actually older than some we've watched on Netflix in the past. That's not available anymore. Seems like
I believe that's on Discovery.
Yeah,
which they have their own streaming platform now. So they probably
just 37 episodes.
It might have been some deal from 10 years ago. Who knows? To just put out.
Yeah, because these are from like 2 years ago. That's when I saw the local guy.
Okay.
That was on there. It's like, oh shit. That's like
should we tell the story?
It's not my story.
Well, so Cody messages me. I don't know why he messaged.
Because last week we were talking about
So last week we were talking about this, and there's a local guy. Well, our friend Cody, who we all mention on here quite often, who lives in the UK, had been over here for a visit, and I think the last time he came, there were some sort of issues, and he ended up kind of. I won't say stranded, but he spent an extra night in an airport or something like that.
Yeah.
And in that process, there was a man who lives.
He should have appreciated it, but he didn't know he was going to be back in 2 years.
Exactly. He should have enjoyed that time roaming the Baltimore International Airport. There was a gentleman there with him who was a contestant, was going to film this Forged in Fire show that Joe just mentioned. And Cody had told me that at some point in time in the past, and I had filed it away and totally forgotten it, but. Small world.
It's very relevant now because I just saw that episode.
It is.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe getting a knife.
There you go.
But I'm also thinking like it's too long. I was talking about pre-orders, hitting. I don't know how do you pay for knives, but you know with statues and figures, sometimes you can pay a down payment or pay nothing at all.
Right.
But when it drops, you have to pay.
Right. Yes.
I've gotten hit with a 4-figure fucking pre-order drop before.
So it happened. So it happened once to me. Do you remember? I talked about it here.
You're like,
it was the butthole pucker. It was the Iron Studios Joker because I thought I put a bitch on a payment plan and I hadn't.
Nope.
And that motherfucker dropped and I was like, I felt sick.
Yeah.
Like So what I did was I bought that and I bought the Harley at the same time, and I put Harley on the plan. So I've been paying monthly. And they both show up on the same statement, right? Like,
snap.
So in my head, I was like, "Oh, I'm paying for both.
Both of
cool,
them.
cool." And then that motherfucker dropped before the Harley, and I was like, "Motherfucker,
bro!" Because usually I pay for everything, the whole thing. I know it's crazy because I literally have a couple $1,000s just in the ether right now, paid for with nothing to show for it, and who knows when I'm gonna get it. But like, I hate owing money, man. I'd rather somebody else owe me money or me losing money than me owing somebody else money. So I usually pay for at least half of it. Or the whole thing, if I can. But for whatever reason, at the time, I really want this item. I don't want it to like miss out on a pre-order because it's done. One release, right? It's not like they're gonna re-release statues. So I put that shit in pre-order, forgot about it. Fucking bitch dropped like a year later, for like fucking $1,800.
Oh, that's a high 4 figures.
Especially if it's like it's something that it's not something that other people are talking about around you.
Yeah, because it's just something like animation. We never talk about fucking animation.
Right. Yeah, that's
So like never again. But anyway, so like I don't know how like it's popular now. So last time I checked, it's like a year out to get a fucking thing made. So I'm not trying to have that happen, and I'm sure it's expensive, like paying for it shit.
Yeah,
but local pickup there, right? You save on
there you
shipping.
go, man. Save on shipping.
Pinkerton can pick up for me.
That's right.
He probably lives down the street from you.
Probably.
Your zip code can't be that big.
It's not. It's in 4 counties, but it's only
I mean, I've just been watching a shit ton of it. Like I said, 29 out of 37 episodes. And then I have other shit. Dude, man, like my list. I don't know. I have a lot of time, seemingly, compared to a lot of people.
It doesn't seem that way.
It doesn't seem that way, but at the same time, it does seem that way.
Right.
Like my time is just eaten up. I don't know what it is. So
Twitching it takes up a lot of time.
Actually, yeah, it does. Twitching, it's like 3-4 hours.
Yeah, it's like
let's just call it streaming because that sounds so weird to say.
I like how weird it sounds.
Yes,
though.
me too. And it's also very specific because people are moving to other platforms now because of either payment or the politics or whatever it is. There's a lot of things Twitch do wrong, but we've established the base there.
We had a great conversation last week after Nerd Rage about politics in a broad sense. The three of us,
we're hanging out for chatting for like an hour. Afterwards.
And it was refreshing to me to just be a part of a conversation that was about politics that stayed so in the gray.
Yes,
that was like maybe a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of this. Maybe, you know what I mean? It was just like, I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah. Because that's why you don't talk about politics, religions, whatever, normally out in the normal world, because the people will always come out with the
gangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's infuriating. It's hard sometimes.
The tribalism.
When you work retail and there's just people talking everywhere and you just hear some infuriating ass shit. And you just have to block that out and not fucking chime in. That's why I never go in the comment section on social media. Because it's maddening. Oh, I don't look at yours even because I'm like, motherfucker, you don't know Bobby.
It is like, dude. Sometimes when I in my quietest moments when I sometimes I usually just stick to my emails, and YouTube only alerts me of maybe 10% of the comments. But then, if I feel look, there's another conversation to be had here, I go in and I basically just check the temperature, see how people feel. It's not accurate, though, is it? Because it's only a certain type of person that's commenting. But that's hard. That shit is hard to keep in perspective. And that's why I do appreciate things like that show a couple weeks ago where I can meet people face to face. They're like, yeah, dude, I've never commented on one video. I've never liked one video. That's not my bag, but I love everything that you got to say. And even if I agree, don't agree, whatever. Yeah, it's important to recharge my batteries, but sometimes in my head, let's say I'm a couple glasses in, let's say I'm a whole box in.
So it's a Tuesday,
right, and I'm in my feelings a little bit, and I'm going through the comment section, and I'll be like, oh. And I want to know every motherfucker that I've ever done anything for that saw this comment and let this shit go. Oh, nobody wants to say anything? I got to be the one to say, I'll fucking go off until I fucking calm back down and get rational.
Funny. And you can hear it directly from me that I see it and I stay the fuck away from it because
it's funny, man, because I'm not going to put this person's name out there out of respect because I don't know how he would feel about it, and I certainly don't want to disrespect him.
Right.
He was privy to a conversation that I was in where I got passionate and I started yelling and carrying on.
Was it about like hot sauce or something? Because you get passionate real quick about a lot of shit. I'm serious.
Well, so that's
or is it about donut holes? Or
he's just a passionate person.
See, that's the thing, is that like I have so many conversations with people that I don't know and that only know me from very limited
I've got something good on this subject when you get done. Yeah.
interactions in person, online, or one-way interactions listening to Nerd Rage or a show or a channel thing, right? So they don't know that I'll yell about donuts and think nothing of it. Like I'll just scream and yell and carry on, and then I'll be like, "Do you want coffee before you go? Because it's a long trip home." Like you know, like it. So I had said I was hooting and hollering, carrying on, and acting obnoxious, I'm sure. And this person who I wouldn't say regular contact with, but it's not irregular either. Kind of felt like I wasn't hearing from him. Something felt off to me. So I reached out, like, and I was just like, "Hey man, just checking on you. Good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. Perfect. Cool." I was like, "All right." And then something else came up, and I checked back in with him, and he was like, "Look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like being yelled at. I don't tolerate it. I'm not yelled at by anybody, you know. And when you were yelling that day, you know, I took up, you know, like, no, I don't think poorly of you or anything. I'm not interested in really engaging in conversation with you. You know." And I was like, "Well, fuck. Let me apologize, you know, because you are a person that I actually value. You know, like I really look forward to our interactions. And most of the time, if I'm yelling in a conversation, it's a good way to know that I'm enjoying the conversation.
Right.
Engaged.
And also in this particular conversation, I'm like arguing against 6 people, right? So it's 6-on-1. So I got to bring backup, and my backup is volume.
Yeah.
Right. But like, it was an interesting learning. And like, my only regret about all of it is that he didn't tell me earlier, so I could have apologized earlier and gotten it out of the way because I like, and we're good to go now. Like we're aces. Like, but you know, and I'll be like Patreon supporter, never stopped being a Patreon supporter, but like felt a way about that shit. And like, but like I value him, you know, and but like it just goes to show that like I wonder how many of those interactions I've had, but they haven't been people that are right on my frontal kind of radar that I would go back and check in on. Right. Like how many people have I accidentally offended that I'm just like skipping through life thinking everything is cool. And
you didn't mean it. You didn't mean it to be
correct
rude or whatever. And they're non-confrontational and they're not the type of people who comment. So like you don't fucking know.
Yeah, and they was like, cool, like I'm done with that then. Like and it wasn't personal. You know, like I kind of respect the way he carried it too, but
okay, so he didn't start shitting on you.
Right. But at the same time, it was like, man, like I wish I just wonder how many people I accidentally offend. Yeah. You know, that's not my intention. But you said you had something on that?
Just broadly on that subject, I had a couple conversations. TFCon weekend. Chris Mall was one over here. But I'm trying to remember exactly.
That dude is wild.
Is he?
Yeah. That dude is wild with a capital W.
He never struck me as being wild.
Dude, there's going to be a day where I have him here and I allow him to just tell his truth, and it's going to blow some people's minds.
Wow.
He was telling me stories that...
Because we've known him for years.
Dude.
Have you?
I mean, like, not known him, but like he's been...
Well, yeah, that's the question.
I know he's listening, that's why I'm...
Dude, Chris, you know I love you. I got to put a little bit of your business out there. Nobody knows your real last name. My man's got 3 BMs. All of them are cool. All of them, it's like he's got his own little like situation, and they're all cool. All the kids are cool. Like they all get together, and he's just like, no man, just can't be tied down. You know, just BM over here, have him, you know, another one over here, and I'm like, you know, not that he's not pimp, but I just never. It's not
the attitude with it too.
Correct. Wow, because I got to have like that Thursday before the show, I got to have some real quality kind of one-on-one time with him, like in between, you know, people coming in and out, and like just I was like, why? I hate that I do that, but in my head now I'm like the world deserves to hear you this story. I got to get this story done. So next time, Chris, when you come out, I'm recording a conversation with you.
Well, the meat of it is and someone else said something similar to me at TFCon. Forgive me, I don't remember who. But basically, it's strange sitting here talking to you. I guess Chris saying this to me because I know everything about you, and you don't know hardly anything about me. But we've been, friends for. I'm like, yeah, it is. And I got to thinking about that. I'm like, damn, that is weird. We have a lot of our shit out in the wind here, and we talk to people. And
I say a lot of shit, dude.
You say,
I talk 20 hours a week. I literally talk 20 hours a week now.
Yeah,
dude. Sometimes Jana has come up to me and been like, because I've been like, yeah, and then we talked about that, and she's like, you talked about that, and I'm like, yeah. She's like, could you please not talk about that?
Oh yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, Jana, I'm sorry, it's way too late for that.
Hey,
I mean, I'm sorry, but that shit is out there. Like, you think that's bad? You should have heard 2 weeks ago.
I just to all the Skullface children, you'll listen to this hopefully never, but if you do in the future, we're all sorry. I mean, and none of it sticks. So don't worry.
This is the overwhelming strategy. By having 3 million hours of conversation, they will never get to it.
Right? Exactly.
They can't possibly
keep on talking. It'll keep buried. Yeah.
But I mean, I've had the way with when I used to listen to podcasts a lot, especially how people tell us as a compliment, and I take it as a compliment that they feel like they're sitting right here with us.
Right.
The problem is when I'm on the listener side and I'm driving, like I would talk back out loud to the radio, but like it doesn't process sometimes. They don't hear me, so you feel like you're in a conversation that you're not.
Right.
So you would take things personally that is not addressed to you at all.
Right. Like I remember before I was on this show, I would scream at y'all all the time when I was driving. If you get something wrong, I'm like, fucking dumbasses.
Like Soundwave with a bird and a dog.
Exactly. Yeah. There's somebody almost wrecked their mom's Mercury Topaz just now listening to that.
It's
not a dog.
That's deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people who know a lot about us, people who have been listening for any amount of time knows a lot of like our personalities and intimate details and
they
personal
still
stories.
Approach. Well, not you, me and Bobby at least, and we're like,
because I'm not around. So they do in a way know us, but we don't.
Correct.
Even if we're on friendly terms, even if I respect you and would love to talk to you, like I don't know you like that.
Yeah. Well, all I need to do is I think it's easy, or over time I've come to terms with it. So like I expect after you like, and I listen to Nerd Rage, I'm like, okay, so
too much.
Every little nook and cranny, so to speak, and not so to speak.
Yeah.
About my life, my health, my every every element of my life.
Joe's butthole.
Exactly.
Everyone knows about my butthole. My chocolate starfish, bro.
Exactly. So like I'm like
I'll bring the hot dog water.
I'm good with it. Just also just give me the benefit of the doubt to get to know you.
Yes,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Fair. Yep.
Is that it for your nerd?
I think that as far as I know, that's all I did.
You drug that nothing out for a good 20 minutes,
dude. I am so good at just fucking talking about things, not bullshitting per se, like just having things to talk about because I have to.
There we go.
So we don't have any notes, but I will mention one thing that Phil did put in there only because we don't have anything really to talk about, and that is the new rumor is there's a Star Wars film hitting fourth quarter 22 or 23.
I think 23. Well,
centered around Old Republic. Like they're getting rid of Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, I saw that was going away.
Or off
the calendar at least.
Yeah,
I was going to say it's 2023 because like we're out far enough that we should know something. But if it's 2022, but with Disney,
you never know.
We would hear about a movie a week before with no fanfare.
So something interesting thing about. Did you have something?
Did anyone watch Eternals? I know that came out, right?
Phil did. He gave it a 7.5 to an 8, or as Joe would say, a B.
Because I hear a lot of people shitting on it.
I just honestly didn't have time to get to it.
Like in general, like just feeling
I might
it
go
out.
see it next week.
Some people like it's worth watching, but a lot of people it doesn't seem like highly rated.
Interesting.
Regardless,
that'll be interesting.
I mean, have you talked to anybody in the wild?
Because I haven't seen anybody. Like since I
haven't heard anybody say a word about it other than Phil.
Yeah,
and he commented in the chat.
That can be a bad sign, though, right?
It could be, but I think it's also this COVID shit and everything else. Like nobody was. This is my 2 cents. There's a lot of star power in that movie. But ain't nobody lining up to see that. I don't know how it did at the box office. It just does because there's no character. It's like, I can't wait to go see
Can anybody at this table name any character that's in that movie?
Not one.
Okay,
What
great.
actor? Or any famous?
Angelina Jolie.
Salma Hayek.
Wow. Hello.
Those are probably the two biggest names.
Yeah.
A lot of the other people, you'd be like, I recognize that guy from something. But
I mean, those are big names for us for when we were younger.
oh, and
They were hot,
Jon
but they
Snow.
might be-
Jon Snow's in it too.
They might be old ladies now to like the average population.
I mean, okay.
I don't know. I'm
Well,
not
then
sure.
leave
Like,
them alone and let me.
no, I'm just not sure what their how strong their appeal is versus 10,
Well, they're still
15 years
stars.
ago.
They're still
Yeah,
mega
they're
stars.
still mega stars.
Well, especially Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
Well,
how
I'll
they-
take Salma Hayek.
No.
Have the bones.
Same.
That's a
You can
different
have-
conversation.
You can have the
Same.
bones.
That's a different conversation. I'm just talking about star power.
Because they haven't been into anything much because they were in everything.
But people
Yeah.
recognize the name. I mean, I can imagine people going just like, you want to go to a movie today, honey? Sure, let's go. Oh, this has Salma Hayek, and let's go see that. And I have no clue what the fuck they just watched.
But you know, the thing that's funny is during one of the short commercials clips between YouTube videos,
peasants.
we saw a trailer and it says exclusive only in theaters. I'm like, wow, they have to say exclusively in theaters now.
Yeah,
That
they
was
do,
like the
though.
assumed thing back in the day.
So HBO Max, like, it's over after this year. That's the end of the
really?
day and date releases, from what I understand.
So it's back to
Back to
the
the
normal.
theatrical release.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, the new normal, I guess.
That's a bummer. I have to walk something back. I have to make a public apology.
Wow.
I've just been apologizing left and right this week.
You mean get Ruben stuttered on the phone?
I need to apologize to the dental hygienists across the nation.
Oh, you went this morning, right?
I went this morning. I've often made the joke that no matter how many times you brush or floss or use mouthwash, it's never fucking good enough for those people.
Right.
They're never fucking satisfied. So I was super diligent about my brushing and flossing for the past 6 months. I was in and out of that chair.
Yeah?
She said, my teeth look great. Hardly any tartar. Let me just clean this up a little bit and we'll have you on your way. And I was
Wow.
like, fuck.
So,
I mean, great, but fuck.
Now you're wrong.
Now I got to apologize again.
and also the fact that it means for all these years you were doing it wrong.
You know,
Well, you know what the difference? My Laura bought one of those little things, they're like little dental floss, but they're like on a little
The little saw things.
Yes, and we just have like a bowl of them sitting up there now, and I just like, I'll pick one up. They look fun. I've just been using them pretty regularly.
you know, they told me to use a water pick instead of flossing, so I bought a water pick, and I use it every day.
Yeah.
You get enough
It's made a
pressure
difference.
because I feel like
Yeah,
the
like,
mechanical.
I worry about that too.
That's why I don't use dishwasher.
It's almost painful. Like,
You don't use a dishwasher?
You know, I use it as a drying rack. I hand wash everything.
what?
Oh, Joe.
Dude, like
We got it. Joe, you're never allowed to talk about me and my technology ever again.
You need to
Look,
get into-
Asian people. Never talk about my Blu-rays. Never talk about my DVDs.
You need to get
this
a-
motherfucker. You're outside with the
you wear-
with
do
the
you wear-
hillbilly instrument.
Hey, now, do you wear a paper hat when you're washing dishes? Look,
No, I just look out the window and these fucking kids walking across my goddamn lawn.
You're out there with
I'm
that.
getting
with-
old,
what
man.
is
I
it?
don't like it when people walk
hear
across my
it.
lawn.
with the washboard,
yes.
like the fucking country bears.
picking and grinning, man. Picking and grinning.
Like it's the same thing with the water pick. Like that mechanical pressure of the green part of the fucking sponge, the scrubbing. Like I don't
not
think
saying
you
you-
get enough water
well,
pressure
I'm
to
still-
clean my goddamn pots and pans.
Right.
I don't know, man. So
I don't know.
pots and pans, I hand wash.
And same
I
with
will
like
tell you, this has a
between
setting that is like, it hurts. Like, so I have to back it. I can't do the top setting on this.
Okay, so
and
it's
it's
like-
actually it's USB charged. Yeah. So my problem with a water pick is I have to, as tall as I am, I basically have to like crawl down to the level of normal people to use a corded water pick. So
When are you gonna get a water saw now that you have a laser saw? The opposite.
those are very.
Those are fucking incredible.
They are.
But I just didn't think a water
You
pick could get that high.
want to go halvesies on it, Joe?
I mean, sure.
All right, we'll have to rinse some
It's
space.
fine. I'm getting to the age.
I need to-
I'm past 40 now. I just want tools for
You have-
no reason.
What about we have to get three-phase converter, so we have to figure out look
The
at the
power.
power lines and look for three. If you can find
Isn't
three.
that the dryer? Can't we just do something
no?
with the
That's
dryer?
just 220, buddy. It's
Okay.
different. Three phase is a complete different.
So when are we gonna forge and start making some?
Dude,
nice?
I'm telling you that land behind my house is for sale.
Hey, real quick, I gotta say,
We can build one building on it.
But before I go into these questions, somebody wrote in, and like I'm not sure if they're in this week's or if it was not a question. We'll see, obviously, in time. But they wrote in something along the lines of, "Look, I'm not a huge Power Ranger fan, but like had some other things to say about Nerve Rage."
Okay.
So I just want to say to that individual, I'm not either.
Neither am I.
Joe knows a lot about it.
Not a lot, but I know enough.
The Power Rager is a play on Nerd Rage, and it became like a thing. It has nothing to do with the premise of the show.
What if that's why we're number 93 in Australia? Is people think this is a Power Rangers? See what you people have. You people did this, not us.
So like, just Phil and Dante the other two, because you need at least 5, and you need a 6 secret extra powerful member.
Saber Tooth Tiger. All right,
that's Bobby.
Joe,
Bobby's the foot. Bobby's the right
don't
foot.
do that. Don't scream that on the pod anymore, man. Stop screaming that.
Our heights are too different to do that. So they'll be the exact same height. I'll have to all be 5'8".
The Good Titan 1 Matt Billings wrote in and says, Power Rangers.
There it is.
Listening to your episode this week and talking all about Disney, you mentioned the newer Mickey Mouse shorts. Having 2 younger kids, and they are. I found the show a couple years back, and they are fantastic. The comedy is so good, witty, and quick. I 100% agree.
Huh, interesting.
I think it has to be because they're only about 8 minutes each. I constantly find myself laughing out loud at jokes that are clearly aimed for much older kids, but most likely adults. My kids look at me and just laugh along with me, even though I know the joke went way over their innocent little heads. The animation is great too. Whoever's behind that show really knows what they're doing. 100% agree. Joe, I recommend a show on Hulu called Dope Sick.
That's the second time I've been referenced that.
It's about the opioid epidemic in our country that Purdue basically single-handedly started themselves and the journey throughout the approval and rollout of the abuse of the drug Oxycontin. Working in pharmacy myself for 14 years, I always knew about it and that it was a problem, but this is dramatized deep dive on the story.
Okay, it's on Hulu. I have Hulu.
My question is also for Joe. Have you been administering COVID vaccines where you work? If so, how do you feel about the vaccine, the variation and efficiencies between brands, and how do you feel about the fast-track approval process, not only for the vaccines, but the upcoming antiviral treatments and new medications that are lining up, like the pills and shit?
Right, so...
Love, peace, and titty grease.
I haven't administered any, but actually I'm doing that tomorrow. We're doing some boosters tomorrow and Thursday at one of my jobs. It's one of the conversations we had last week.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this on Friday. But yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about safety because that's what people are mostly concerned. I personally think it's safe.
Now, just for new listeners, let's be clear what you do for a living.
I'm a pharmacist.
Okay,
I'm
there
a
we go.
registered pharmacist. Practicing that, not so much anymore.
I think me and Bobby might have been pharmacists at one point in time.
Yeah, I think we're all pharmacists, street pharmacists at some point. Like I've been practicing registered pharmacist for 10 years. I've been in the pharmacy business for 15 plus. As far as I can fucking tell, there's nothing wrong or anything more dangerous in these vaccines than any other vaccines all the same way. And for terms of efficacy, at this point, it's people's choice. And what does jump out at me was the recent 5 to 9 okaying of the vaccine, and that pharmacists who like me, I've never been trained to do pediatric stuff, are okay to do it. And I'm just like, I personally don't do it. I don't do any my personal choice to do anyone like 16 or under, like even flu shots. I'm allowed to give them as young as 9 now,
right?
Because newer-ish law since after I graduate. But because I'm not comfortable giving kids stuff, I'm just tell the parents, look, you don't want someone giving your kid a shot that's not comfortable doing it.
Absolutely.
Because some people get mad, like, why aren't you giving shots? I know you're allowed to. I'm like, well, think about it. As a mom, do you want someone who's not comfortable sticking a needle in your kid?
Right.
And they're like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But so I'm definitely not doing the 5 and up kids. So tomorrow I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. But I think people should get the vaccines. Personally, adults anyway, as your choice. But I think it's better than not.
Like we were talking last week, and he didn't ask my opinion, so I don't necessarily feel obliged to give it. But like what we all kind of ended up agreeing on was like it's all a gamble.
It is one way.
It's just where you're edging your bets.
And like it's not completely preventative. Like people have it with 2 shots and still caught COVID.
Yep.
Like I personally know someone who's gotten COVID twice, both strains. He got the regular and he got both shots and he got the fucking Delta. So
and I know a guy that got the first shot in January, second shot in February, and has Bell's palsy. He got Bell's palsy after the second shot, and it has never gone away. And the doctors are like, yeah, it's a neurological thing. It's more than likely related to the shot, and it may never go away. So now his whole faces on lean.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, is that better than dying of COVID? Like,
That's a personal choice, though.
Sure.
You can't say it's better.
Well,
I can't say it's better.
Well, let's go out on a limb and say, but like at the same time, relatively young, relatively healthy, not in the high risk factor for COVID in the first place.
Yes.
So like that's where it comes down to like you know, like I kind of say pro-choice when in cars of abortions because like I guess that is how I feel ultimately.
About things.
But I have more nuanced views to abortion than just that.
Yes.
But it's just an easy way to get out of the conversation. This is probably the most pro-choice I've ever felt due to this vaccine.
Unprecedented.
For one, it's unprecedented, Joe, as we all know here. It's unprecedented.
Absolutely.
But two, it's like, I get it. I get why you would want to do it. I did it. I got it.
I get why you don't.
I get why you wouldn't.
It's a risk benefit ratio for you.
You know, especially based on your age, based on the people that you interact with regularly, based on your lifestyle. You know, like if you're a homebody, you work from home now because of COVID, you're probably never going back to work. All the old people in your family are dead and you don't really need to interact with the public that much. And when you do, half the time you're wearing a fucking mask anyway.
Right.
And you don't want to take the risk on it. Like, I can't knock you for that. I get it.
Yeah.
You know,
the difference between vaccination and abortion is like a.
Well, no, I'm not trying to compare.
I know. I'm just saying. Like the difference in the choice that you have to weigh also is you don't. Most people don't. I get it, but you really are thinking about other people too.
Yes.
Usually with abortion, it's like your choice, your kid, your immediate people. Whereas a vaccination,
you're thinking about other people too. There, you should be. Theoretically, right?
It's less.
Not that I'm not trying to compare these anymore.
Right, but not strangers, right? Like,
right.
If you're thinking about it in the long term, like you're also thinking about whether you carry it and spreading it everywhere you go.
Right.
If you're thinking about that, and I get it if you're not, but that's part of the conversation.
Yeah. Well, you can
just
also
because you don't get sick from it doesn't. Just like the flu shot, just because you don't fucking get sick from it doesn't mean you're not carrying it and spreading it to wherever you're fucking going.
I think where I take more of a very, very cautionary stance. Like, I got the shot because of my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. I have to because of my job.
It was the responsible choice from my lifestyle. But
we're just swingers, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just fucking anything out here, Joe. With my back as it is, just still getting after it.
Trying to prove a point.
But also like the thing where I get hung up is from like 5 to 9.
Yeah, that's
now I gotta think about my 5-year-old.
I'm hung up on that, man.
And I'm like, we're going to New York next month, so I'll probably have to if we want to take her, you know. And it's like that shit feels weird, man.
It feels weird to me too.
It feels weird, especially because that I'm like, it's a city saying you're, you know, as a federal tax paying American, you are not welcome here without this thing that we don't really know the long-term effects of because we haven't had the privilege of having long-term life with it. And that doesn't mean I'm anti.
No. You're just cautious.
I'm just cautious because it's my fucking kid and I'm responsible for it.
That's why I say like my advice on most medical advice or even like any advice I give is for 18 up, really. Yeah. For adults who can listen to my advice and then make up their own mind, right? I don't know about kids.
Yeah,
but I do also understand why certain places don't let people, like certain schools or doctor's offices say if you're anti-vax, if your kids aren't vaccinated, you're not welcome here. I get that too, though. You know what I mean? Like, so if you extrapolate that to a city, the only difference is it's not private, right?
Yeah, I get it. So with that, it's I guess
it's really a fucking non-advice, but I personally don't think it was very easy for me to get, and also I had to eventually get it, but I would have gotten it personally, the COVID vaccine, the first 2 shots anyway. Obviously, if I do it for myself, I would advise other people to do it.
Yeah. What do you think about the pills and all that?
I don't know enough.
Okay, because that's like some news. You've seen it though, right?
Yeah,
like,
but
Pfizer pills and Moderna maybe even has a pill coming.
Because we have antiviral like Tamiflu. It's very common every fucking year. Like we sell like goddamn candy because it does. We have antiviral pills that work, but I don't know. COVID is very different than the flu when it comes to that. So I don't know.
Who's to say?
Yeah, I don't know how well it's gonna work.
We got 2 write-ins from Dr. Diecast. So I'm going to go back to back on these. I haven't pre-read them, so forgive me. hey, you mighty Milfin Power Rangers.
Bro. I'll take that one.
Man, I'm the only one without a MILF.
That's true. That's true.
Shame.
Sorry, couldn't think of anything better for Morphin. No need for apologies here. I simply wanted to express how great it was to meet Bobby and Kris during TFCon. You gentlemen did not disappoint. Kris, you are very friendly and approachable and speak with the same golden voice in real life.
It's not just the fucking
It's not
mixer.
a put on, I promise.
Truly a magnetic personality.
Wow.
And sorry if I missed this in prior episodes. Do you ringside commentary for wrestling events? I imagine you'd be perfect.
I did it before. I'll tell you, there's no videotape evidence of me performing in a wrestling ring, but there's videotape evidence of me doing ring announcing in a wrestling ring.
Really?
Yeah, and it's quite disturbing. Everybody in WWE, because there's a couple guys in that match that ended up going to WWE, are like, they're all Joe size. Tiny little, not that Joe's tiny, but you know what I mean?
Small.
Like height wise.
Yeah.
Yep, I did that. I actually enjoy doing that, and I'd love to do that again if the opportunity arose.
That's the second time that we've got, because didn't we get another write-in last week about someone noticing how patient you were with
the young man? Yes, that's right.
I'll tell you, the realm has been for me, like, I don't take this any kind of way, but it has been for me a great, like, obviously I can't give 100% attention to 100% of the people. So for me, it's been like a great kind
Go hang out with those guys over there.
Kind of. Like kind
They
of.
won't fuck you over or make you eat hot chips.
It's been like a look, I can't donate the amount of time, but here's a group of people that are pretty cool overall. Yeah. And between all of them, they can probably donate the amount of... I can't speak for every motherfucker in that group, but the overwhelming majority that I've met are pretty cool.
So Bobby is God. He's like, listen, you can't hang out with me.
No.
There's some clouds right over there, though.
That's my basis.
Some guys over there.
No, it's just that perhaps a village is best to raise the child.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And some remarkable things happen sometimes in villages.
Then he said, Bobby, with all your self-deprecating humor, one would assume you are a large, brooding, angry beast of a man in real life. Instead, I found someone with charismatic and positive persona who is actually quite handsome and svelte.
Is it the first time you ever been called svelte in your life?
Yeah,
bro?
probably.
Plus, he's low to the ground and he's scrappy.
I am that.
That's things you have to keep in mind.
The Dinobot blanket is on my living room couch and now formally belongs to my dog. The Skywarp art is framed in my collection room. Thank you again for those signature pieces. Okay, enough about me being a fanboy. Love the content and hope to see you guys again in the future. From Sanjay. Sanjay is
it's awesome.
He's a king among men. And I told you I fucked his name up with fucking Sony and it's his, and I happened to meet them at the same time. I'm not the racist Spider-Man.
I had the exact same interaction. Like I met them simultaneously too, but I was able to discern the difference in my head.
I was too. It just came out.
You had a lot more going on than I did.
So then he had a follow-up. Now that Kris's and Bobby's glamoring has worn off, I do have two questions. One, recently branched out beyond Transformers after seeing the new Blitzwave Voltron, which does look very fun. 3P Turtle Van and Super 7 Thunder Tank announcements, and brought out all the right feelings of nostalgia. However, for several months, I've been going back and forth on figures from fandoms after my early childhood, including Mafex Nightfall Batman, 3-0 Evangelion. Evangelion.
Yes,
Evangelion, not Evangelion. Evangelion is about a lion that's avenging his brother. It's kind of like Lion King in many ways.
He's
avenging Mufasa's death. He's the Evangelion.
But he's also... But the backstory is... he is also a traveling preacher, so he's an evangelist lion that's avenging.
Dude, just add the layers.
Ooh, man, this sounds like an anime.
Writing
is this an anime?
Who's storyboarding this right now? That could be an anime for sure.
Yeah.
So, Evangelion and 3-0 Green Ranger. Have you had similar experiences, or more broadly, is there a time component to nostalgia? I.e., does it stop before early adolescence, or are there triggers as we go through life for each phase in our lives? Example, as your children age, you recall something they liked at 7-year-old and add that to honor that. So I think there's a number of things there. I have this nostalgic connection to cars because of Jaina loving cars, and I hunted with her to find the Matchbox cars. That was back when she liked things that were $1 at the fucking Target.
Sure.
so I have this kind of nostalgic connection to cars, but it doesn't mean a whole lot to me personally.
Pause Patrol, bro.
The same. Like I like Rubble on the Double, and mainly because Selena used to say you sound super cute. Rubble on the Double.
It's amazing how quickly kids fall out of shit though.
Yeah.
It's like they turn on a dime. No, I don't like that.
But as for me, like that's why I say it's not always about nostalgia for me, because like I have a fucking $1,400 Daenerys sitting out there,
and it's new.
That I just fell in love with it within the last 5 years. And I think it usually comes down to my connection to the characters and the story, and sometimes that connection stays long enough for it to also have a nostalgic component to it. And then real quick, I wanted to comment on one other thing regarding that, was that I remember when I got into kind of high-end collectibles, it started with Play Arts Kai with me, but I remember the game-changing moment for me. Because I got into third party and I was like, all right, Play Arts Kai and third party, and that's it. And then I got SH Figuarts Darth Maul, and it changed everything for me. It was a life-changing event in regard to how I viewed collectibles. And then that type of event didn't happen again until seeing Chris's basement with the Hot Toys displayed as museum pieces instead of toys.
And then got all of them.
Sorry, Laura.
Yeah.
So kind of in that vein, I had an interesting experience. So bunch of guys most everybody came over here Thursday before TFCon. They were at my house, before for a couple hours bullshitting. And Jose comes up to me, shout out to Herrick and BX, and has I believe it's Hot Shot from like the Unicron trilogy. Maybe Cybertron, one of those Armada. He's like, hey, you want to sell this to me? I was like, I don't want to sell it. He's like, why not? And I was like, I just don't. And it's funny because he ended up finding one at the show, like with like the repaint flame job or whatever. And he was asking me, he was like, why did you not want it? I was like, thinking about it, that was something that I bought myself as a young adult, and then Mason played with it, and then Charlie played with it. Mm. Yeah. And I guess that's why in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to get rid of that, because it's actually pretty cool. You can just flip it back and forth super easy. And I guess part of that was, my two boys had enjoyed that at some point in time. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get rid of it, and it didn't immediately come to the front of my mind.
You just subconsciously knew that you wanted to keep it.
Exactly, some random ass transformer.
That's interesting. That was subconscious.
That's crazy though.
Yeah,
and I know that. And Jose talked to me about that piece. And how like kind of tenacious he was about trying to track it down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but wonder, is it because he liked it as much, or is it because somebody told him
no? That's a good way,
bro.
And it stuck with me. It was something that I carried with me, because then it's like the challenge, right? Like then it's like, oh, I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get it.
I definitely had that feels on eBay before.
Yeah,
when like
I'm having that shit on StockX sometimes now. Where I'm like, oh, this bid ain't good enough for you? I'll buy it from the next highest person up.
Yeah, so he's actually taking some pictures of it.
Yeah, so normally for eBay, I do the buy it now, but if I have to bid on something, I will set the highest I'm willing to pay, put that in as my highest bid, and I'll leave it alone. But if I lose, I definitely have gone and paid more for the next time I find it.
I'll tell you, not that this relates, but somehow I feel obligated to discuss it in the same breath. I broke Jaina's elbow, when she was a kid.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so I broke her elbow. She broke her elbow twice. I was responsible for it once. In my personal opinion, it never healed properly, and then it broke again, falling off the monkey bars.
Because I know that one.
That was the fucked up break. That's when she needed pins and everything else. Jaina hated to have her diaper changed. Hated it. We fought tooth and nail every time. And if you're a parent and you know the joys of parenting, Joe, and those unfathomable kind of
poopy diapers,
immeasurable joys that you get from them.
I can't imagine. You're right.
You change a lot of diapers a day. And every day it was a fight. Until One day I took her into my master bedroom to change her because my bed sits high up off the floor. That's a weird flex, but it does. And I took her in and I dropped her basically on the bed. I'm talking about like a 1.5 drop tops, like the most harmless drop you could. I wasn't slinging her across the room. Like every parent has dropped their kid this far or further that I did.
Just like a cat or a dog, you just kind of, instead of bending all the way over to set them down, you just kind of let it go. Yeah.
Yes. And she laughed. So I would do it again, and she laughed. And it got to a point where it became our thing. I came into our bedroom, I dropped her 3 times, changed her diaper, dropped her 1 more time, and then we continued our day. And this crying and screaming regarding her diaper change came to an end.
She had to make it where she could enjoy something before and after. Yeah.
Play a game out of it.
And then one day, she cried when I dropped her. And she landed on her elbow just away. And I know it sounds crazy. The hospital thought it sounded crazy. And then when I had to talk to social services regarding it, they thought it sounded crazy too. But it's the God honest truth. Laura was there.
Freak accidents happen.
And you know, she like was nursing the arm. I remember it clear as day. And I was like, fucking, like we put her in the, I put her in the car immediately. We got Laura in the car. We drove to the emergency room, the whole bit. But to this day, the shirt that she was wearing that had to get cut off of her, I have in my closet sitting in a place where I see it every day. And it's a constant reminder to me, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
Every day. But not necessarily a nostalgic connection, but it has a connection to my history, and it's a message for me to remember for the for the rest of my life. I'll never get rid of it. I'll torture myself with it till the day I fucking die, like any good Catholic would. But yeah, let's see. So Quinturion, he says,
"Do you guys watch Dune yet?"
Not yet. It's on my list. I haven't had time.
It's going to go out soon.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
Just it won't be this week.
Hi, I don't know. This was him. He said, I don't know anything about Power Rangers. So yeah, Quint, neither do I. But as mainly a Transformers collector, I collect War Machine and Mandalorian Hot Toys on the side. Which Hot Toys do you have pre-ordered or are going to? Do you sometimes wait for the first reviews to order it? I don't collect Hot Toys figures without a helmet or a mask because they most of the time have those couldn't scan the actor or hot sausage expression. All that money with no extra expression said, how much does this bother you? FYI, I'm waiting for Bo-Katan review, helmet on, and pre-ordered the Iron Deadpool and Boba with Throne. For money a month, that last one felt like a regular episode. Thanks. So I'll be honest, my approach is kind of the opposite. I rarely get helmeted Hot Toys figures. I for the price I want the face.
You think that's, I mean, that is a draw. Like the lifelike face.
Yes. So like, but I'm in a weird space, and I think I might put a Hot Toys discussion on the docket for the future of a Nerd Rage episode.
A regular collectors episode?
Yeah, maybe. Well, because I'm almost out of it.
I'm close. Like I got one in yesterday. I got in the Rex yesterday. It got delayed like my Rex 4 million years. And honestly, I put it in the pile with the other 12 Star Wars Hot Toys I don't even have open because ultimately I'm going to put all them downstairs and move the rest of that shit upstairs or elsewhere, and I just hadn't had a chance to get to it. But
make a bunch of money selling it.
You know, I don't buy like I used to. Like I think that last Marvel thing I got was probably that the Doctor Strange that came out for Infinity War because everybody was clamoring to buy the Doctor Strange movie one that was a low run, and it was like $600 at one point in time. And that's the other thing about Hot Toys right now is if like I have a Jyn Erso that I'm going to sell because I'm never going to I'm not going to pay $1,000 for a K2SO. I'm not. And her by herself, it's just kind of dumb.
They might put out a K2SO though with this Cassian show.
And if they do, they'll probably re-release the Jyn Erso. I mean, that's I don't know. I think in my mind with my Hot Toys now, once I get everything, I'm going to be more about what am I going to put on this shelf? Because I think I am too kind of at an end game. Yeah, there's 28 different Mandalorian variations and troopers, and I've got
Mandalorian
the classic,
is the end of Star Wars.
I've got the classic Mandalorian, like the first appearance or whatever. Then I've got the Beskar armor with Yoda, and I don't think I need another Mandalorian. Now I've got the heavy Mandalorian. I've got the IG whatever. You know, I think the only other thing I've got on order is I have the Ahsoka, but not the not the Rosario Dawson, like
the Clone Wars one.
The Clone Wars human.
So I have that one on pre-order.
Got fucking what's his name? The Darksaber bad guy.
Darksaber.
Esposito. Yeah, we know his real name. We can't think of his name but that's all I've got.
I've got
on order.
But you've always been fluid, though. I don't expect anything to ever stay other than John Wick shit. I don't expect anything to stay in your collection. John Wick and Punisher, the Iron Man are the only thing I see in your collection that will leave.
I've got the Arkham stuff pre-ordered. Like I have Harley pre-ordered. I'll get the Nightwing.
That stuff looks great.
Yeah. I think there's one other one that I have pre-ordered through that.
But I don't think the Mandalorian is like a crazy path for Hot Toys to take. If you think about like all the different variations of Iron Man,
right? Yeah, you know? So it's in the same pocket, except the Iron Man variations are. This sounds ridiculous. I almost want to turn the whole fucking podcast off. Like, they're more variant. Like they're more variable.
They're more different looking.
Yes,
and same with like Predators. Like people kind of like that kind of collecting sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting out a trillion different clone troopers.
Yeah, and like some of them are tempting to me. Like Echo is tempting to me, and you know, but like at the same time, I'm like, man, like
I've got Rex and Cody. I don't need anybody else.
I'm just getting Rex. I'm getting Rex and Ahsoka, and I'm having them back to back.
Sorry, Cody.
That's it. Yeah, sorry, Cody. And I'm trying to think if I have any. I have Vision pre-ordered.
Which one? The regular color? I like
regular color.
I like the white one.
I do too.
So to speak.
Yeah, but I had the regular one, and then I'll get. There's supposed to be a new Drax. I'll get the Drax. Like I have a certain amount that I'm getting, and then you probably won't see me fuck with any more Hot Toys until they do X-Men.
Are you gonna do the full costume Scarlet Witch?
No. Okay. I like the skirt.
No, she's hot. I'm just saying, like comic book wise, you know, like it's pretty good homage to the comic book.
I'd be more tempted to get the Halloween costume one. It looked like just like the comic book.
Classic, yeah.
But yeah, I think a Hot Toys conversation is due because I haven't been there's been so many properties that have come out that haven't where's all the fucking Snyder Cut Hot Toys stuff that should have came.
Where's anybody else from the Matrix?
Dude, they didn't give us a Joker from Snyder Cut. It would have sold. It would have sold like hotcakes. Like, where's all the fucking Suicide Squad stuff? Where is all the all I'm getting is Iron Man, Spider-Man variants, Mandalorian variants, and clones. Iron Man, Spider-Man, Mando, clone. Like that's what we were saying. You know, like it's the same shit.
I got out of Hot Toys before I even got in. Like I have a couple like Deadpool, and I like Hot Toys. I've always liked Hot Toys, and I want to start getting them, but it's off-putting the aftermarket prices. The limited, I hate fighting for pre-order. If I'm pre-ordering some shit, I should be guaranteed it. Like that's what I'm pre-ordering.
You're pretty much guaranteed, except for exclusive something.
Yeah, I think
they don't sell out like
one of the points of the question was, are you pre-ordering or waiting for reviews? I mean,
oh yeah, that's right.
If something I want, I'm going to pre-order it.
Me too,
because there's been so many cases where you didn't get your pre-order in, and now it's twice.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
That's when shit sells out. It sells out when it's out, not when it's up for pre-order.
And thirdly, it's like Hot Toys have now been long enough, unlike the vaccine, to where you can see some of the problems with having it.
Well, and the thing is,
things falling apart and stuff. I don't want to get into something.
Most of the time,
rubber tires and chrome jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Most
rubber tires and chrome jobs. There you go.
Most of the time, there's stuff comes out in Hong Kong.
Yes.
3 months before it gets to Sideshow.
Yeah.
So you may not be able to understand what they're saying, but somebody will have reviewed it and made enough of a lot of time you can still hop on a pre-order.
Yep.
If that's your concern.
But jump in is too late though.
$20.
If for anyone who find it now, it was like, let me jump into Star Wars. You can't. You fucking can't.
No.
Well, unlike your Bobby, you just like.
Well, I was lucky that he wanted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look where we are now.
He pawned it out. He foisted that shit on
I just wish I hadn't sold you the old bin. That's the only one I will ever want back out of that.
Yeah.
It's right here. You have it.
I know it's here. I can see it every week if I want.
Yeah. But I know the feeling. And then our last question is, and for me, I always pre-order. Like if I don't want it, I'll sell it.
That's what we do with fan stores too.
Like, and I'll tell you, like I have some stuff that's like on the chopping block. Like Mando and Beskar armor is on the chopping block. IG-11 is on the chopping block. Boba Fett is on the chopping block.
But you have to sell that shit. Well, you have to sell some stuff in sets because people don't,
which I'd be willing to do.
No, I'm saying like I feel like just like why people put things, the legends on the mattress to sell for the lot, because you always end up with the fucking one thing nobody wants.
Right, the IG-11.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But like, I wanted the 3. I wanted Cara Dune, IG-11, and Mando, and it's never going to happen.
Did you never have Cara Dune?
I don't know. I read today that they may be bringing her back for season 4 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, really?
The season 3, I guess they're filming now.
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be the last one.
Well, a lot of times cancellations are temporary.
Yes, that's true.
That's right. You gotta just let it calm down.
So Paul C says, in honor of someone making it around the planet one more last time last week, let's talk about being long in the tooth. The cast of NR are all very much tastemakers in the world, right? You're down with the hip-hop lingo or the hip lingo, and you keep up with the young kid vernacular. Having said all that, when was the first time you remember feeling old? Was there a specific time event that did it, or was it a more general realization? If the former, what was it about this time that stuck with you? He says for him, it was a physical limitation. It wasn't a physical limitation or anything like that. He says, I'm definitely am more comfortable and willing to grind than the younglings nowadays. Let me clarify before someone gets triggered. It's not that youngins refuse to put in work. They are willing when they have the proper motivation. We are just the last generation who is willing to put in the work when the reason is just because it has to get done. For me, it was a general sense of I don't have the time to figure out what they're doing. In the past, it killed me not to know what was going on. I knew all the pop culture happenings and references. I'm very good at pop culture trivia nights and have won multiple pop culture competitions. I always knew the latest TV show, movie, music, etc. And if I didn't, I was excited to be able to check out something new and add it to the arsenal. I don't know when it happened, but eventually it came to a point when I realized that I didn't get the reference, and I was fine with that. Cue Steve Rogers meme here. For me, it was a very specific. It's really the only time I feel like I ever felt old. I went to, it was this year, I had a work party, and I got there. I was the first one to get there. I hate being the first one at a party, but I'm always the first one at the party. I'm also the last one to leave, though, so I teach those young people something else.
That's right.
Well, at this party, I was the last one to leave. And anyway, I was sitting there waiting for people to come in, and people came in, and they were younger people, and they sat elsewhere. And I was like, oh shit.
Is it
that's the young crowd now. And I'm in this other crowd.
Is it just because they don't know you though? Or is it
I knew some of them.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
But I was like, and they're all like, they're in their 20s. You know? And I was like, I get it. Like, I got kids. They don't have kids. My kids are there. You know? And like, they've like setting up shop over here, and I'm over here.
And when the old people roll in, did they roll on your side?
Yes, that right way. And not old, but like,
you're our
like
age.
mid to late 30s, like people with young kids, basically.
Did you say to anybody about the time you got here, or look what the cat drug in, or okay, classic old dad.
Yeah, no, I didn't get any of those.
For me, it was like I always paid attention.
They just let anybody in here.
Look at this guy over here. I stopped paying attention like popular music for what felt like about 2 months, and I turned on the radio or something. I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
Like it just that quickly. I feel like
because it's fast,
and I also feel like I've aged 10 years during this fucking bullshit the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Like I just looking in my face, even I'm like, fuck, dude, what the fuck happened? It's just I don't know. But that pop culture thing, and I'm the same way with Paul. I don't have the accolades of a Paul C as far as pop culture trivia goes. I don't have any awards, trophies, but I ain't got awards for that, Bobby.
Yeah.
But I can hold my own at trivia. You know, pop culture trivia, I'm pretty fucking good at it. Right across the board. You know, if you talk about who won Grammys in 2020, I'd probably have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, that would be me. Just the kind of out of the loop on the music stuff a little bit. And I did have to look up what no cap meant the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't familiar with the reference.
Yeah. That's been some shit too, having to look up slang. Can you think of what slang you had to look up, like aside from no cap? Any other ones stick out? What about you, Joe? Anybody?
I don't feel old yet. I think it's partly is because I don't have kids, and second of all, like things I don't know, like reference I don't know, I would have never known. It's things I never cared about in the past. Like, so like if I didn't understand music reference as a 16-year-old, I'm not going to understand music reference as a fucking 4-year-old.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, but and I'll be honest, I don't feel old outside of that. Outside of that moment, that's the only time I've ever felt old in my life.
That's the first time you felt it.
Because I felt ostracized because of my age.
Damn, it's ageist, bro. You should tell them.
I know. Oh, they would hate that. Their generation.
That's how you're progressive. Why you ageist?
Blow their mind.
Or they
like, call the New York Times.
They might be like, well, I'm sorry, sir. We didn't mean to offend you, sir. We didn't mean to offend you, sir. I know getting called sir, going in a store like at the mall is like, how you doing, sir?
See, I don't.
And I take that as someone as respect, but kids don't talk like that anymore. Either.
Yeah, I know, but like in my head, I still convince myself that that's the case because I do that. Like,
what you say there, young buck?
I'm a yes sir, yes ma'am.
I am too. I am
for a while. Military boarding school does that to you.
Yeah, and I mean, I just always say like I've always said it. Like it's just been like a thing with my it has been for my elders, but it could be my elders. Like I'm 25 and you're 30, or I'm 15 and you're 18. I do it to young people.
Yeah, I do people younger than me. You know what I mean? Sir, if I don't know your fucking name, you come to
yes, sir.
I'd say that yes, ma'am, to the boss before I have now. She's the same age as me. She's like, you don't have to say that.
Yeah,
it's just habit. So
yeah. And that's it. I'll double check so I don't have any unread notifications as long as possible.
It's only been 3 days. What happened? How did we get so many questions in 3 days? It's because we told him to get him by Sunday, isn't it?
Right. And you can send those questions to
nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
If you can think of a longer email name for us to change to, let us know.
We're willing to set that up too. Yes. Nerd Rage Radio Mail. You got questions, we got answers at gmail.com.
No, bro. Don't put that in the viscera here.
And with that, shout out to the rest of the Cool Table. If you listen to this podcast and have a podcast or don't have a podcast, as far as we're concerned, you're part of the Cool Table as well. And shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team, Raul on Instagram, Dante on Facebook, who we haven't seen in quite some time, and Phil on Twitter and on the notes. And with that,
shout out to Germany and Australia, UK, step up your fucking game.
That's true. And also, I got to talk about this real quick before we get out of here, and then we'll just jump right to the outro. So Manny, right? We always talk about
Secret Six member. He's the Green Ranger.
Yes, he is the Green Ranger.
He's got the flute.
He hits me up. It's crazy. He hits me up and says, "Have you seen this?" Friday. This is Friday at 3:49 p.m.
When was the time before that you heard from him? Just curious.
So via text, it was 6:56 p.m. April 14th.
Okay.
So Friday, he hits me up and says, "Have you seen this? The Terminator and Matrix are in the same universe," and sends me a video about how they're in the same universe. And I said, "Man, they're just doing anything." And then he sent me another video, Nike versus Boutique Sneaker Shop lawsuit video breakdown. Interesting. He sent me the link twice. I said, "What's up, though, man?" And didn't hear back from him.
He's just dumping content in your lap.
It's a strange world we live in.
Perfection.
And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Tasty tank.
tight dick player.